Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Anime Talk Show. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Anime Talk Show with your hosts. I am Dion.
And I'm Chris.
And, fun fact, actually, it's almost, as of recording this, it's almost exactly, we're just a little over 2 years when we posted the last anime review show.
That's two anime-less years. Well, technically not anime-less, but I haven't been watching current season anime in that time.
No, when I was going back to look at the old stuff, and I looked at the last attempted season 2 of the old anime review show, I was just like, the 4th of March. We're just going to miss that, because it's going to be posted a week later as well.
True.
But yes, we are back. God knows how long this podcast is going to be, but unlike the other podcasts, which you'll see earlier this week, which we try to keep short, this one we just kind of ramble until we're done. So brace yourselves for the long haul.
Did we try to keep that other podcast short? Because that
Joe tried.
That 3.5 hour runtime might say differently.
I felt bad, but Joe was certainly trying. The chaos that adding one more person brings to it. Jesus, imagine if we did that for the anime review show. Oh.
True. We're all ramblers here at Blunt Lemons, apparently.
But yes, we have rebranded to the Anime Talk Show. Most of you probably won't even remember the anime review show. It depends on why you subscribe to this channel, because we do have subscribers, surprisingly. But yes, we've now dubbed it the Anime Talk Show simply because we don't really do proper reviews, or at least I wouldn't call them a review, would you? We kind of just go over the plot and how we feel about it.
It's kind of a review, but it's certainly more talky than a review would be, I guess.
Yeah. And plus, we never give, proper scores. We don't do, so many out of 10 or whatever. We just go, thumbs up.
And that confused some people very, very much last time.
Oh god, yeah, with Code Geass. Alrighty, but yes, now we're back. We do go full depth into spoilers, so this is your official spoiler warning. For the most part, we try to keep up with current season, but we will watch some older stuff, as we are about to point out to you. And yes, for this first edition of the Anime Talk Show, this is going to be season 1, because this is a reboot of the channel. We are covering 4 shows at the moment, and there will be a bonus show at the end of the season when it finishes. But for now, we are reviewing ReZero, the director's cut, No Gun's Life from the previous season, Darwin's Game, which is currently airing, and Toilet Bound Hanako-Kun, which I think is also currently airing still.
It is, yes.
Yes, okay. For ReZero, we'll be doing it 1 episode a week, because the director's cut is an hour each. The rest of them will be 2 episodes each, apart from this week with Darwin's Game, because the first episode of Darwin's Game is 50 minutes, which I forgot. Oh yeah, and that should be another thing, actually, to preface this. I have seen the original ReZero before. I haven't read the manga, but I've seen the original anime. And I've partially seen Darwin's Game, because I was watching this midway through the season when we decided to actually revive the YouTube channel. So some of these things I've seen before. But Chris, I do believe, is unfamiliar with all of them.
Oh, fresh eyes on all these. My last 2 years have been devoid of anime for the most part. Well, I guess in that time I watched almost the entirety of the Yu-Gi-Oh anime. Don't know why, it was just on Netflix. But outside of that, I've not watched any anime.
That is certainly a very random watch. I never liked Yu-Gi-Oh! Growing up, not the card game nor the anime, so I never bothered.
I really like the card game. The anime, well, it's like the Pokemon anime. I like the games more than I do the anime. The anime has always been hit and miss, but I was like, fuck it, I'll watch it, and it's cheesy good fun for the most part.
Fair enough. Did you actually play the card game or video games? Or?
Oh, I did. I was very into it when I was a child. The actual card game. I still have Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and my dad threw away most of my collection. Yeah, it was to the point where when I was 11 years old, I our old school, I was trying to. I was like arranging a tournament. I was like, I bought a trophy for it, and I was like, I'm gonna get everyone to like play off against each other. And then the day I was about to do it, I brought the trophy and everything. They banned card games in schools because people were getting robbed, and I was very sad.
Oh, that is such bad timing. And you know, it won't be because of, I don't know, because it wasn't like this at my school. I know we've already gotten off topic. We'll get back on topic in a minute.
It's anime tangential.
Yeah, I don't know what it was like at your school, but at my school, it'll have been banned mostly because of football trading cards rather than things like Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon. I know that for a fact, because at my primary school, at least, it was insane. At
Red House, I think it was more to do with Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! Was like bigger. But then again, I was never really into the football cards. I had some because I just accumulated them over time, but I guess my narrow viewpoint, it seemed to me that more people were into Yu-Gi-Oh! Than anything else, but there were people with those like binders full of like Ronaldos and whatnot. So
yeah. So many duplicates. I'm sure it's the same for things like Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff as well. So many duplicates that people need to trade.
It's borderline a scam. Like, good times.
Yes. Okay, well, that's a glorious example of how this show's going to be. We'll go off topic a few times, but for the most part, we'll just... the format of the show is going to be... after we establish an order of which anime we're going to talk about first, we'll mainly just talk about the plot, and as we talk about the plot, voice our thoughts on characters, events, where we think it's going to go, etc. Yeah, that's about it, and then we'll give our general impressions at the end of it. Like I said, full in-depth spoilers, so... I try to decide, like, who is this for? I guess it's for people who have already seen the shows, or if you don't mind being spoiled on, like, the first episode, then to get a general impression of the show.
Yeah. Well, unless you're joining us on, like, episode 6 or something like that, at which point, I guess that's not for you either. It's more so that we can talk about anime, and hopefully it'll attract other people with opinions on anime.
Yes, hopefully, and hopefully they'll won't be as harsh as the Code Geass fans.
Well, maybe we were a little harsh on Code Geass, who knows?
Will we? I think we were just being honest.
Well, it was my honest opinions, but maybe I wasn't paying as much attention as I should have been to some of the plot points, even though I think some... Anyway, this is not Code Geass talk, goddammit, I'll get myself into trouble again. I don't want that sort of attention.
Fine, but one last thing I'm going to say about Code Geass is, fuck the defense, it's supposed to be a 50-episode season, screw you, it was 25 episodes, we don't have season 2 here in the UK, so that's no valid excuse. I hate that defense. But okay, right, okay, the first anime we shall talk about then is, Krishna, let's go in order of your notes. Which anime did you watch first?
I watched Toilet-Bound Hanako-Kun. Is that the name? Is that Hanako-Kun or not? I can't remember. Anyway, the one with the toilet ghost. That's the one I watched first.
You did say it correctly, Hanako-Kun.
Oh, and as a quick note to anyone who's watching this, I'm a dub scrub, so I watched the English version of this.
We inadvertently have a dub, not a dub versus sub mentality here, but Chris always watches the dub if he can.
If there's a dub available, if there's a dub available, I'll watch it. If not, it doesn't bother me. I'm fine with reading and listening to Japanese. It's not like I'm like, it's just how I started on anime. I just watched everything in English, and that's just what I do now.
Plus, there is a benefit to it. It makes life a lot easier. You can do other things whilst watching an anime, because you can actually listen to it, unlike me.
It's more relaxing. However, watching this one, watching Toilet-Bound Hanako-Kun in English, like, it sent me into a frenzy of Googling. Because as soon as the show started and Hanako came out, I was like, I know that voice. I know who that is. And then I was Googling for it. Turns out, it's Deku from My Hero Academia. Is the voice.
The English dub, I'm assuming.
Yeah, for the English dub, yes. And it turns out her crush is Shoto from My Hero Academia. So I was like, what is happening? Everything's the same, just a little bit different, you know?
It's alright. I think I had a similar moment as well, because I haven't actually Googled it yet, but in the sub, the main character, Yashiro, I think her name was, I think, but I might be mistaken, I think her voice actress is Uraraka from My Hero Academia. I was just like, what?
Apparently
I haven't Googled this yet. But...
Apparently both versions are drawing deep from the My Hero Academia pool. Also, I mean, it wasn't true, but throughout most of the episodes, I was like, is the voice actress for the main character the same voice actress as the main character from Little Witch Academia? And then it turned out it wasn't true. But the lady is in a lot of anime, so I've probably heard her before.
But right, yes, shall we hop on to the plot. I can't remember if you take notes on the plot or just you make sporadic notes as you go. Do you want me to read the plot notes? Or
Oh, you're the plot guy. I make like a review type note at the end.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I shall. That'll be the fallback from now on, then, I suppose. Right. We open up with a simple explanation of what Hanako-Kun is and how to summon him / her, because originally it's thought to be a her, and see a girl, presumably our main character, perform the steps to do so, and meet him, and then we go straight to the intro.
What strikes me about this opening sequence is just how pretty this anime is. You know, I would like it's got like such a distinctive art style to me. I don't know if it's been done in anime before. As aforementioned, I don't really watch a lot of anime outside of the show, but to me specifically, I was not blown away. That would be the wrong word, but I was very impressed with how the show looked.
No, I can agree with this statement. When you said you wanted to watch this for the anime talk show, I was instantly like, oh yes, I've been interested in that one because, like you said, the art style, whilst we don't know if it's unique, is the first one we've watched with this particular art style. It's like, oh, it looks so pretty, and the animation is lovely as well. There's no denying that in the slightest.
Very, very expressive characters and nice. I like the color scheme. Everything about the way the show looks really appealed to me.
Yeah. Also, I like the main characters, the girls' design. And at first, I thought just like the whole design was just the style, and then they make a point in the show to be like, no, her legs are actually just weird.
She's got weird legs.
I assumed the rest of the characters were going to look like that, but no, a lot of them have the regular proportion. Anyway, but yes, no, very good looking show, very well animated from what we can tell so far. Hopefully it doesn't take a downturn as the show goes on, because some shows do that. Then we have the intro sequence, which the only note I have on that is, I like it enough.
I didn't like it very much. I just don't think it like hit the tone of the show. It reminded me of Death Note's intro. Like,
oh god.
Like heavy metal type. Bleh. I was like, it's not hurting my ears, but neither am I ever going to listen to this again, so.
The funny thing about Death Note's intro is, I hate both Death Note's intros, but the English covers of Death Note's intro are really fucking good. If they used the English covers for the intro as in the anime, I'd probably love Death Note's intro, because I fucking love those songs.
I mean, the songs are fine, it's not my sort of music, you know?
But yes, what do we have after that? We learn the girl's name is Yashiro. Like I said, she's first year at the high school, and her wish is for the boy she likes to return her feelings. Hanako offers to help, and by using a how-to love book.
The characters in the show are like really charming, and I like that Hanako was like, I just want to help you, and I don't particularly want to like doom you to like an existence of repaying me. So I'm just gonna try and help you through conventional means.
Yeah. It's both adorable and just, yeah.
It turns out, as spirits go, he's a pretty nice one.
No, he is, because he's even like, I could use, more mystic means, but, those have a much steeper price. Let's just go with the simple stuff for now. What are you good at?
And it certainly leads to a load of adorable shenanigans.
Oh, yes. It leads to a bunch of, how did he put it, operations to I don't even know if it was to get him to fall in love with her or just to get him to notice her, because I don't think she even got to him once.
No, through her own fuck-up, she ended up, like, never really getting there. She'd run into the wrong person. Well, she did directly...
She nearly killed someone, I think.
She did, but she also directly messaged him with her produce, which I was like, that's fun. I wouldn't mind getting, like, a fresh cabbage on my desk. Cabbages are expensive. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. It's thoughtful.
It is the thought that counts, but at the same time, I know for a fact if I got a bunch of vegetables on my desk, I'd be like, great, well, those are going in the bin, because I hardly eat veg.
I mean, I'd certainly take them home. Cucumbers, can't say I'm a massive fan of cucumbers. I think one of them was a cucumber, so I wouldn't like that one.
God, but no, yeah, she tries multiple things, giving him the vegetables she's grown, running into someone with a piece of toast in her mouth, because, anime tropes. What else? There was like running up to him with a spare button, and then for some reason, half the school came in on that one.
I did like I was like, I'm missing a button. Then there was just like 10 people who was like, we've got buttons. Have our buttons.
There was just a boy literally ripping his shirt, like, take mine.
I don't know how popularity works in Japan, but I like the concept. I like the concept. It's just so popular. Everybody's willing to like just bend over backwards.
I was gonna say I certainly like the anime concept of popularity in Japan, because that would just be fucking weird here. Funnily enough,
I mean, it helps.
as most things in anime would.
Helps that he also seems like a nice dude.
Yeah. Okay, what else? After the operations, after failing and being disheartened, they go back to the bathroom, they talk some more. Then she finds a bag full of mermaid scales that Hanako dropped. And, he starts explaining the process of what these are, what they do, and before he can finish, I guess, not to be spiteful, but I don't know how else to put it. She swallows one. Stupidly.
She's desperate to get the job done, so to speak. So she doesn't. Instead of letting him persuade her not to take it, she was like, "Fuck it, I'm taking it and going. Let's go."
Because the thing about these mermaid scales is, if you and the person you like swallow one together, then the curse is split between the two of you, and you will share a bond. That's about. He got like halfway through that explanation before she swallowed it and then ran off because she was unhappy with him for not doing anything, magic. And then she faints, and then she wakes up as a fish.
She was oddly okay with being a fish. I mean, like, she wasn't okay with being a fish. But at the same time, I'm like, I feel like I'd be freaking out a lot more. I'd probably have a tiny fish heart attack if I turned into a fish.
Probably, yeah. Oh god, that and the imagine the like what's it called? Claustrophobia as well, of being in that tiny tank.
I would be freaking. One thing I do want to say though, before, like, the reasoning for her not giving the boy this, like, the other boy, like, trying to force feeding the mermaid scale, I like that. Like, it was a mature take on, like, relationships, if that makes sense. It was, like, she just wanted companionship, basically. She didn't really care if it was that dude or anything like that. I found the message strangely deep for an anime that I thought was just going to be cutesy.
Yeah, it is nice. It is a little nice thing there, because it's not necessarily about falling in love with the one. It's literally just like, I want, like, everyone. Want friends. Yeah, want someone closer than a friend.
She's lonely and she wants a boyfriend, and she's latched onto this one boy, and it's not really because she loves him or anything like that. It's just because that, in her weird loneliness, that's just what she latched onto as, like, the hope. And it was sad, but also, nice at the same time.
A little more context as well, because a month ago she confessed to another boy she liked, whom after hearing him say he likes feminine girls, she, like, trained to be a good gardener and cook and other things, and then she asked him out, and he rejects her. And at first it's like, okay, he doesn't remember you, fair enough. I barely remember everyone I meet, so that's kind of an understandable rejection. And then he was then he was harsh with the legs, which is where they point out the legs thing, and I was like, ooh, why?
He was just mean.
Like, fair enough not remembering her, but did you have to diss her as well? But no, yeah. And then she latches onto this other boy who, I like it when Hanako-Kun's like, alright, what's his first name? ... Fuck!
I really do like the humour in this show. It gets chuckles out of me on a regular basis.
Oh yeah, no, it's certainly good. There's not actually much left of this episode already, because after she turns into a fish, I think they briefly talk about the mermaid's curse, and then the mermaid shows up, which I was not expecting. I wasn't expecting any action in this show, to be perfectly honest, but it surprised me twice now.
It didn't seem like a very actiony show, but I quite liked the action when it happened.
Yeah, it was very brief, but it was, it wasn't too over the top. It fits in. It's just the right amount of action that I wasn't expecting from this show. Because it's a very brief and simple action scene, but it doesn't go anywhere near other shows that we watch, like, I don't know, My Hero, or it didn't suddenly go stupid over the top. Yeah. It's just like, he brandishes a knife, he cuts the mermaid scales off, not like all of them, just like a gash, and then she's like, I'm gonna fuck off now.
I mean, it shows like this that challenged my conception of myself, in my head, I'm like, I like action shows, I like shonen, etc., etc. And then I watch this, I'm like, no, apparently I'm not that person. I like all things, I guess.
Oh, that's the thing. You can never really definitively say you don't like a genre, because there's always going to be exceptions, or not even exceptions, but a good majority of that genre that you will like. Me, for example, I refuse to watch horror films because I'm very much a coward, but as I did on Twitch, I'll happily play a horror video game. I played through the entirety of Outlast and Alien Isolation. I fucking love them. Well, Alien Isolation anyway. Outlast I wasn't fussed about. And plus, there is the odd horror film that comes out, and I'm like, that's an interesting premise. I want to go see that. There's different aspects in every genre that most people, if they actually look for it, will like. Hence our most classic example of Kuroko's Basketball.
The anime review show and its now success of the anime talk show really have made me broaden my horizons and watch many things I wouldn't have.
It was so funny watching our top anime of all time list, and when we got to Kuroko's Basketball, I was like, Chris, say the catchphrase, and you got it instantly, even though we hadn't watched it for like a good few months.
Well, I'm not sure I could get it right now, but with a bit of prompting, I probably would.
Something along the lines of, how can I care so damn much about basketball?
Yes. How can I care about basketball?
That's a topic for another time. You could go watch the top anime of all time to see why we love Kuroko's Basketball. But yes, the mermaid appears. Surprisingly / unsurprisingly, Hanako fights it off. Mainly unsurprisingly because I wasn't expecting an action scene. But unsurprisingly because, well, it'd be a very short anime if the main character was abducted and taken away in the first episode.
Or at least a very different anime that I was expecting.
But no, yeah, he fights it off, which, by the way, are mermaids depicted like that? Is that their own take? I don't know. At least Japanese mermaids, because it was basically just a fish with a face.
See, I'm not very versed with Japanese yokai lore, so I have no idea.
Yeah,
I mean, the mermaid, when they were describing mermaids, when they were talking about the mermaid scale, that was a very normal-looking mermaid in, like, the thing, so maybe not. Maybe it's just this show has a weird take on mermaids.
We'll have to do some research. But yeah, no, afterwards he offers to turn Yashiro back to being human for a price. He's sly about it in the beginning and just says, for your body. And naturally, her head went somewhere completely different. Then he swallows the other mermaid scale, so that they are now bound to each other. And she is now his new assistant. And that is the end of episode 1. Also, she can touch him now, because before she would just pass straight through, because, you know, he's a ghost, but now because they're bound, she can actually touch him.
What I do like about the way he saves her from being a fish is that they could have had it him just like, did some like out of the hat magic, and then I've lifted the curse in your mind now or something like that. But instead, they play with the rules that we've already established. In that, like, we've established that these mermaid scales, one person eats one, another person eats one, then you share the curse and you're bonded. And like, I don't know, I just thought it was kind of clever that it was like he was the one who ate the scale. It played within its own rules quite nicely. In a way, I wasn't. Yeah. I was expecting them to just be like, hocus pocus, you're not a fish now. And I'd have been fine with that, but I just thought it was cool this way.
Oh yeah, no, I completely agree. It all came back around because a lot of anime would do that, where they bring up something, it goes nowhere, moving on, then they pull some magic out of a hat. But no, they established something, they set it up, they gave us rules for it, and then they used it to finish off the episode / the problem they were facing. It was a nice little touch, and especially as the next episode goes on as well, it's nice to see the reasonings behind why he did what he did as well.
Yeah, this show, I expected it to be like basically like a load of comedy skits about her like trying to win, like every episode of this. Oh, she's trying to win the boy's heart in a different way. Turns out, wasn't the show. This is a different show than I was expecting, and I much prefer this version of the show than the one I had in my head.
No, yeah, I can agree with this. I also had the same mindset because I knew nothing about the show apart from the basic premise. Which even then, it didn't involve the love bit. That was the first episode setting that up, and I was, pleasantly surprised. But overall, I'd say a thoroughly enjoyable first episode and a good intro to a new anime.
Very charming. Very charming episode. The humor hit for me, the animation hit for me, and the story hit for me. It was a strong episode for me.
And the characters as well.
The characters
for us. Because we only get introduced to the two main characters in this episode, but next episode, I won't say it just yet, but we do get introduced to the third character, because if you look at any of the art for the show, there's 3 characters on the main thing. So, but yes, episode 2 then. What on earth happens in episode 2 at the beginning? Because I can't remember. After the intro, we see Hanako and Yashiro. Yashiro is cleaning the bathroom for him, and then after some banter about a boy using her for council work / him possibly considering turning her back to a fish if she keeps complaining. She pops off to class. She has... Oh yeah, Hanako has like these 2 spirit ball things that kind of float around him. And apparently he can use one as a bodyguard, because one was just following her in class.
So I assume it's yokai lore. Maybe if we'd watched Yokai Apartment Life to the conclusion, we'd know what was going on. But I have no idea.
About fuck off. Oh, screw that show.
Oh, it was a chore. But yeah, I'm assuming it's got some. I'm assuming these are like known spirit, because this toilet ghost is a known quantity outside of the show. Like this is a later show that features this toilet ghost. But
I've heard of this legend before from some of my friends. It's cool how they actually incorporate actual legends and stuff into this, because it kind of makes me curious to go Google some more. Like the one that appears this episode, Yosei-san, which is the title of the episode. I'm curious as to, because it seems to be at the end of each episode they have like this weird radio announcer who tells you of a new yokai type of yokai lore, and I'm really curious to actually like Google all these, be like, are these actually things?
That's what I wanted to... When we were talking about the intro, I knew there's something I wanted to mention. I really like the outro for this show. The like radio presenter saying some yokai nonsense, or, well, I say nonsense lore. And then, like, just the way it's animated, then it goes into, like... It reminds me of the end of Attack on Titan Season 1, the first half, like, the piano music. It's just really pretty. And I like the way it sets up stuff up, and it also, like, tells me about the ghosts. I like to know about ghosts, I guess.
No, yeah, it's certainly cool. I mean, most of this kind of lore fascinates me, like ghost lore, monster lore, that sort of stuff. Like, I would love to know more of this because I play a lot of D&D and stuff, and whilst I'm not very good at DMing D&D, at least not planning it, I like creating worlds, and it helps to know more of this lore so I can make interesting worlds to play with. So learning all this stuff is fascinating for me. I'd love to know a lot more about like English medieval folklore and monsters and stuff like that, but
if only there was a strong animation tradition here.
But yes, okay. So like I said, she goes off to class, and then we briefly see Yosei-san, and then we get told after she loses her English textbooks, which thank God there wasn't any Japlish. I saw the English, I was like, oh, Chris is going to be happy. Where is it?
I'm watching the dub anyway, so I don't get any cringe English.
Oh, yeah.
I love a good cringe English.
I know you do. It hurts my soul, however. Oh, God.
But by the way, a personal nightmare of mine, being asked to read something out in Class A, but B, being like, I don't have my things.
Yeah.
That's horrifying.
I was very much relating to her stressing out and looking for her English stuff after they just like, read out this page. It's like, oh God, I don't have my stuff. At Red House, you get a bollocking for that.
You would.
But no, yeah, and one of her classmates explains what Yosei-san is. Basically, Yosei-san randomly steals stuff, and I can't remember what else apart from if you look at Yosei-san, then it kills you.
Yes, it's I don't know, maybe Japanese schools or Japanese culture is just full of these like little, like, if I was walking around school and someone was like telling me about the ghost that's going to kill me, I'd be like, yeah, right, fuck off, basically. I don't know, I've got that English sarcasticness within me, I guess. But in Japan, I guess everyone's just like, oh yeah, no, stuff goes missing and there's a ghost that's going to kill you, basically.
Yeah, you say it, Japan. Let's be kind here. In anime.
In anime. That's what I was saying. I preface this, I don't know anything about Japan. All I know is what I interface through anime with. And I'm fairly sure there was a quest in Persona about this sort of thing. Persona itself is about like people's cognitions coming to life and killing people. I'm like, is this a thing that Japanese people think about a lot? Like, like the way they perceive things murders people?
Japan has a lot of unique concepts that are either unheard of because they're just not popular or just aren't done here at all.
It's a unit, like a product of being an island nation, literally a whole world away. Makes it a very interesting place.
To be fair, I'm sure they could say the same thing about us if they came here. Obviously, we don't have our own version of like anime for them to digest en masse, but if they were to learn about English folklore, there'd probably be some things in it that would be like, oh, that's very different from ours.
That's weird. And there is a lot of weird English folklore.
Oh, I'm sure there is. I truly need to actually research it because I've heard like snippets and those were enough for fascinating. But again, well, not off topic really, but kind of off topic. But right, yes.
This isn't the English folklore show. This is the anime talk show.
But yes, then she goes looking for. Actually, no, she doesn't go looking for her things. I assume Yosei-san is the one that like knocked the flower watering can out of the girl's hand, and it soaked Yashiro. And when Yashiro gets covered in water now, the scales from being a fish / eating the mermaid scale appear on her skin where it's wet, so she immediately ran off to the old school building.
It must be really awkward
That's gonna be a
shower.
Yeah, I was thinking that, or a bath. She can never go to a Japanese bath now. Oh, Christ.
Like, how does she drink? Does her mouth get scaly when she drinks water? Is it any liquid? Questions. I've got questions about her life now.
She definitely has to dry off before leaving the shower, at home at least, because I think her parents would be a bit concerned about scales growing out of their daughter. But then again, this is anime. She probably doesn't even have parents at home.
Yeah, it's possible she doesn't have parents, or she lives by herself in an attic or something, or in the dorms.
This is anime. Nothing would surprise me. Anime kids never seem to have parents. Like a good half the time.
I don't know. Like in, like say, Yokai Apartment Life. Like I think he had parents and relatives, but he seemed to be trying to like support himself by having a job and paying for like. I guess Japanese high school culture is very different.
Yes, but then you have something like Iramanga Sensei, where it's just the boy and the girl living together and no parents. It's like, why?
Yeah, especially when those children want to bang each other.
Oh god,
parents are good at dissuading that sort of thing.
But yes, okay, she runs off. She goes to like the old part of the school, encounters Yosei-san, which then see him and tries to kill her. Hashiro. I think that's a different show entirely. No, that's Yashiro. No, Hanako-Kun comes in, saves her, and then we learn more about Yosei-san and more about yokai lore, at least in this universe in general, which I thought was quite interesting.
It's a cool idea. These creatures are like basically bound by their perception. Like if you think that they're gonna kill you, they kind of have to kill you now.
Yeah. But no, yeah, what was it? They were once yokai, but as time's gone on, they've got a lot weaker because of artificial lighting and stuff, and the dark not being as terrifying. And now, to exist in the human world, they have to live up to their perception, as Chris said. Otherwise, they'll no longer be able to exist here. So the fact that everyone in school thinks that if you see it, it's going to kill you, it has to try and kill you. And this is where presumably the main plot of the show might be, where Hanako's like, yeah, I need you as an assistant so that you can help me change rumors like this so we don't have killer apparitions, rather. Otherwise, I could have to kill the apparitions. And keeping in mind at this point, Yosei-san has turned into like 20 small adorable things.
You don't want to kill the tiny adorable things.
They're like tiny adorable rabbits that go around stealing things. It's, it's pretty nice.
They have cute voices as well.
Mm. I like the one that was always just like, have a sweet.
Yeah, they just want to feed you candy, apparently.
But no, yeah. So she agrees. Surprisingly, again, unsurprisingly, easily. And to be fair, she comes up with a rather simple solution. However, there is a downside to this solution, which I immediately thought of. She goes around and she's like, yes, that's true. But if you have sweets on you, you'll be fine. And I'm like, okay, a very nice and simple solution. What if they don't have sweets on them?
They're still going to die.
It's like, they're fucked then.
Well, when one or two children die because they don't have sweets, everyone will learn their lesson and have sweets on them.
Jesus.
It's a harsh world, true, but it's the world they live in.
It's the world of Pokemon. Oh. But no, yeah. And then that's kind of like the first half of the episode, and then the second half of the episode, we get introduced to our third main character, whose name I cannot remember. I got the family name down, Minamoto. a family of exorcists. We kind of see him in the corridors, questioning the like small cute bunny apparitions as to where Hanako is, and then he goes off on a speech, and everyone at school's just like, he's crazy, let's stay away from him.
When I first saw him, I thought he was also a demon, like an old friend of Hanako or something, because he's got like pointy teeth. Like he's got like cat teeth for some reason.
That's just an anime style choice. It happens a lot.
I realised that in the end, but I was like, he can see other spirits, and he has pointy teeth. Maybe he is also a demon.
It's a fair conclusion. You know, the only thing that goes against that is the fact that everyone could see him, but maybe he's just a spirit that everyone sees and thinks is a part of the school student body.
True. Oh, also on the note of people thinking people are insane, everyone thinks Hanako's insane because she keeps talking to her. Not Hanako, the girl. I can't remember.
Yeah, Yashiro.
Yashiro. Like, everyone thinks she's insane because she keeps talking to herself. A side effect of having a ghost friend.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't addressed that yet. Maybe they will in future episodes. Because if I was her, I'd be subtle as hell about it. I'd be like, not talking to you until we go to the bathroom.
I'd be talking out the side of my mouth. I mean, then I also probably look like an insane person. But yeah, she's at this rate, she's only going to have ghost friends.
Yeah, if everyone thinks she's crazy, she definitely ain't gonna have a love life. But no, yeah. Then we cut to Hanako and Yashiro on the roof having a nice little lunch, and the Exorcist comes along, and it gets almost Blue Exorcist kind of.
I like
a short little battle.
I like this action scene. It was kind of cool. It was very Blue Exorcist to me, and I like Blue Exorcist, so it gelled with me.
Yeah, same. I have no complaints. Again, it was just enough action because it's not like over the top insane. It was just like a few moves, and then it was done. We also potentially learned that I'm confused by this because he never like confirmed or denied it. He kind of like joked about it that the knife that Hanako wields means he killed someone whilst he was alive, which I'm curious now.
And I feel like the show was pretty explicit, saying like, no, he did kill someone or something. I mean, it'll probably reveal it was like self-defense or they deserved it or some such, but I feel like he has murdered someone.
I mean, that's what the Exorcist said, and then again, I mean, he never really confirmed nor denied it. Like I said, he kind of just joked about it. And then what else happened? What else happened after that battle? He stole his weapons and put a thing on it so he couldn't magically harm him anymore.
Well, it was also kind of couched in like it's electrocuting your hands because you have no idea how to use the stick that you're prodding me with, so it's like hurting you too. So I've neutralized it forevermore. Your family heirloom that was very precious to you.
It's like he's done it for a good reason, but you know, fuck you. That was worth a lot.
What if there's other evil spirits I need to exorcise? I don't have my electric cattle prod now.
It's alright, you have me, the murderous ghost with a knife. What was the other thing as well? Oh yeah, he said that, again, I can't tell if he was joking or not, but he was just like, yeah, I killed someone, God sent me to this school to atone, and I might possibly be able to move on. I was like, I can't tell from the way it's like talking to Joe almost. It's like, do you mean it?
I can't understand your intentions.
So yeah, what else? No, actually, I think that was about it for this episode. I can't remember if anything happens after that.
On Hanako being just like a good dude. Like, even when he's fighting this exorcist who's hell-bent on, like, destroying him, he's like, I believe that you'll one day be a great exorcist, and you'll even have the power to take me out one day, but you've got to, like, learn first. You can't go straight to the big leagues. I was like, Hanako, you're very encouraging for a ghost who kills people, I guess, maybe.
Possibly.
Possibly kills people.
No, I mean, no, that's the route they're going with him, especially if he does mean like to actually atone for his sins and being in a school environment as well, it works very well, and I'm curious to see how they go about it in the future of these three characters. They have good chemistry, and I'm looking forward to seeing the shenanigans they all get up to.
Oh, that's kind of the show in the nutshell. It rides on its art style and it's like very strong characters. I like these characters. I want to see them interact. I want them to see them do more yokai stuff. I want to see more. Is I guess the summary of the show.
Yeah, okay. So I guess final general impressions before we go on to the next show.
Thumbs up from me. I like the show a lot, actually.
How are we going back to the thumb system? Very well. A thumbs up from me as well.
unless we want to right now establish another rating system, I've got nothing else other than thumbs up from me. I like it.
We don't even have a rating system. It's just, do we like it? Yeah, I absolutely like it. I like the characters. Like I said, the characters, animation, it's funny, and I'm curious to see what misadventures they all get up to in the future. A good solid 2 episodes to get you introduced to the 3 main characters and the concept of the show. And I quite like the idea going into the next one as well, because the preview for the next episode said when you step on the 4th step of the stairs, you get transported to the other side. And next episode is a part 1, so this is going to be a 2-parter, and I'm looking forward to it.
I like these esoteric yokai rules, and like it's giving us time to get to know yokai and invest and involve yourself in this world, unlike say like a yokai apartment life where it was like, hey, I'm in a yokai apartment and now I'm not, and you don't know anyone or know anything about the show. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know what. But
you're supposed to feel bad for me when I missed the wacky apartment life, which you never got to see.
Yeah. So I as yokai stories go, of the 2 I've watched, this is definitely by far the one that's intrigued me the most.
Yes, I'm very happy that you said you wanted to watch this one, because it's certainly a good choice. So, thumbs up from us. If you like the sound of that, go check it out, and then you can watch along with us, so that we're not constantly spoiling the show for you. Right, on to the next show. What is next in your order of notes?
Next down was Darwin's Game.
Darwin's Game. Okay, episode 1. We're only doing episode 1 because episode 1 is 50 minutes, so I'll either rewatch episode... Oh, you can either rewatch episode 2 next week or just hope you remember. Sorry.
I will assume I can remember. It'd be hard this week in my mind, like separating them. I can't remember where one ended and the other began.
Right, Darwin's Game. I'm just going to say this out the gate. I really do like the concept of this show, which is, I believe, the reason you chose it as well.
This is a show that's far more up my alley than Toilet-Bound Hanako-Kun. It's an action-based like superpowers show basically, and that's fine by me. That's a good show concept for my personal tastes.
But we'll get more into the details of how it is as we go. Like I said, first episode's 50 minutes, so this could be a long plot summary, but we'll pause as we go. But yes, we open up following a random guy whose name we did learn, but I completely forgot. Running around from an invisible adversary who, during the chase, calls Sudo Kaname, and the only reason I noted that name is because I knew he'd be the main character. This is the show I've seen before, so...
One thing that struck me as soon as I figured out who he'd called, I was like, why would you call him? Of all the people to call to help you in this fight, you called someone who doesn't play the game. That's a bad choice. Bad last move.
Yeah, it is a bit of a weird choice. I mean, either way, he probably would have died, because, like we saw, he gets cornered by this invisible adversary who then swiftly kills him. Because he does list off a few other people. It's like, oh, don't want to get involved with him. He's up to shady shit. Him, no. And then he's like, this guy. It's like, the only reason I could think of that you would choose this guy is if you thought his like personality / physique was suited to the game.
Yeah, but like
you knew he'd be a good rookie.
He knows nothing about the game. He doesn't know how to help you. He doesn't know what's going on. He's never played the game, and you're like, I'll call him for help. No. Like, he's not going to turn up and help you because he doesn't play the game. He has no idea what the rules are or anything.
No, in fact, I feel like if he had survived, your friend would probably resent you, being like, fuck you, dude, why have you got me involved with this? I'd certainly be pissed.
as much as I like the premise of the show and all that, I feel like that was a very flimsy way to get the main character involved in it. Like you could have had, I just have this, I saw this game on the App Store, would have made more sense to me than some guy, my friend who knows I doesn't play the game, really wanted help, but called me to play the game. It was just a weird way in. But it is what it is.
Yeah, it's what we got, so we have to deal with it. But so after he is killed, we cut to Kaname at school the next day with his mates, who's showing off this new street art. It's like I guess the best way to describe it would be like pixelated street art. We know it's not, but that's what it looks like at the that moment in time. And then another friend comes in asking if their friend from that we saw die the previous day is coming to school. And then Kaname tells him about the notification he got from said friend, and then he clicks on it, which if I was that guy who was asking where my friend was, and then my other friend goes, I don't know, but I got a notification from him yesterday, we're like, don't you fucking open that.
Yeah, don't touch that, you moron. Listen to me.
Like, just, your first thought should be, don't draw this man into the game. Just, like, swipe his phone and just be like, don't open that. Don't open that. Just delete it right now. I'll explain later. Just delete it now.
Well, by the rule, I don't know if it's this episode or the next episode, but by the rules, they can't explain it without getting teleported or something, right? They can't mention the game to people who don't play the game, which begs the question how anybody started playing this game and how it spreads to new people. But
I imagine it was like a controlled group at first, and then they probably just had to like mass invites. And you know what people are like, despite everyone knowing things like Nigerian princes scammer schemes and all that, there are still people who fall for it. So people have just got this notification and gone, oh cool, new free to play game, let's try it.
But you never know, I might be related to that Nigerian prince, you know? There's only like 100 million people in that country. Like
no.
maybe I'm related to that Nigerian prince.
No, obviously. I mean, we do have African blood within our veins.
I specifically have Nigerian blood in my veins, so maybe.
But no, yeah, there'll have been people who easily fell for it, / people who just wanted to try out a new free-to-play game. So I can believe that was easy enough to distribute. But no, yeah, he tells him that he got a notification from him, clicks on it, the game opens up, he hallucinates a snake biting his neck.
Or is it a hallucination? Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, I'd say that, but at the same time, the guy stood next to him obviously didn't see it, and he's not a part of the game, so...
Yeah, you didn't see it, but like everyone knows about this snake biting you. Like, oh, did the snake bite you? Well, then you're in the game. So I guess it's something everyone goes through.
Everyone knows about the snake, but if you're not playing the game, you don't see it. You just see the guy like freak out and then faint. So he faints, wakes up in the office. There's like a brief glimpse of his power as he goes to leave, because he has to like sign a form to be like, I'm leaving school for the day. And as he goes to reach his pen, his hand does a weird glowy thing, and the pen's in his hand. And then when he leaves, his nurse is like, did I have 2 of these?
I did not catch that one, but...
No, yeah, that was... to be fair, I didn't the first time around. Like, this is a rewatcher's perspective. This is why I'm trying to be careful of what I say. I'm happy to rewatch this show, because I do quite like it, despite its animation not being the best at times. But obviously, having watched it before, it's like, I need to be careful of how I word everything, because I don't want to spoil anything. But no, yeah, that's a cool little teaser to his power. And then as he goes home after, I presume karaoke, because that's what they said they were going to do, but we didn't see the karaoke.
Just as a side note, it's in Persona, so I assume it's real. Do people? I can't imagine just being like, oh, let's do some casual karaoke. Karaoke is like a once every 3 years sort of like scenario for me.
As I recall, and feel free to shout me out on this if I'm wrong, but as I recall, when I was learning Japanese, my Japanese teacher, I think she said that karaoke is actually a very popular thing in Japan for some reason. So
that's one of the most foreign things about these about animes and Persona games. I'm like, people want to do karaoke. You'd have to twist my arm real hard to get me to do karaoke. I'm not gonna lie.
You would have to get me drunk first. That's for certain. Like, don't get me wrong, I'll happily like sing in the car when I'm alone and like driving for an hour, but in front of other people, sober. What?
Like, there's 2 of you. You're just gonna go like do karaoke? It's weird. Like, if I'm doing karaoke, there's got to be 10 plus people there at least, and also, like, I'm not going to do it, so I'll just watch other people do the karaoke.
To be fair, I'd have the opposite to you. I wouldn't want 10 people there because they'd all be watching me. I'd want to be like just me and like 1, maybe 2 other people, so we could all just do it and laugh at each other.
I'd want it rowdy. I want the point not to be karaoke. I need like another point to the trip, you know.
Fair enough. But no, yeah. So that happens, and then he gets on the train. He, even though his friend told him To be fair, his friend is a shite friend because he's not very good at explaining anything. He was just like, "Don't open that. I'll explain. I'll come over to your house later and explain it." It's
yeah, I'd have gone home with him. I'd be like, "We're going on the train now. I'm going to tell you things.
I'm going to give you a debrief of this fucking game. Don't click anything." I would have stuck with him at all times. No, his friend. I mean, his friend comes back later and I'm putting up like the double fingers here. And saves him later, but it's just like, dude, you could have prevented this whole situation. You're a dumbass.
Yeah, but he could have made this so much easier. Told him all the rules because apparently he at least knows something about it. I feel like that friend screwed him.
I guess what we're establishing here is that either that friend is an idiot or the writing's not that great for like this first episode of getting him involved with Darwin's game. But take that as you will. So yeah, he investigates the game a bit more, clicks a notification that says like match start, and then he looks up and sees the guy that was hunting down his friend the other day, a guy wearing a panda suit, a baseball team's mascot, wielding a knife, and his first fight begins. His fight for survival.
I'm surprised he didn't die, because I'd die. I'd die instantly.
I mean, he got very lucky in that the train stopped just as the fight began so that he could get off the train. Otherwise, yeah, he'd have been so dead. As would I.
I don't really have much to say about like the fighting. It's like fine. I mean, I feel like that's my impression of this first episode in general. It's got a good concept, but mostly I just feel like it's fine.
Yeah,
it's all right.
That's pretty much my impression of the show up to the point that I'd got to, because I've watched up to episode 7 before we started doing this. Now I'm rewatching it with Chris, and I'm holding off on watching it so that I don't know everything going forward. And I said I was happy to rewatch it because I am. It's a good enough show, but I have the same impression as Chris just said. It's like it's fine. It could be spectacular. It's got a good premise. Its animation holds it back a little bit because the fight scene, it's not bad. It's just it exists. It's a thing.
Like, the fights are entertaining enough. The powers are cool to like get your head around, but like I don't know, not like unlike Talk About Hanako-Kun, there's nothing really inspiring me with the show. You know, I'm watching. I'm like, I'm having a decent enough time. It's all right. there's nothing wrong with it, but there's nothing like particularly like drawing me to it. It's not great. It's not bad. It's just good. It's okay to good most of the time.
But no, yeah, he briefly fights him on the train, fucks off, runs out the station. People around them are kind of just like, is there like a weird... Is there a baseball thing going on nearby? Because the guy's dressed up as the local team's baseball mascot, which, as he wasn't wielding the knife whilst running through the streets, I'll give them credit, it's not completely retarded. However, the thing I am confused about, though, is when he runs to a policeman, to be fair, I'll give the policeman credit, he wasn't like, you're crazy, he believed him and was like, you, stop, and then instantly gets killed by the guy, and I'm like, how do they cover that up? Yeah. I feel like that would require an investigation.
I feel like the cops would get called out to this all the time. People are brawling in the streets with, like... I mean, I guess I've just got to suspend my disbelief. But, like, the show itself particularly is like, I've got to find a police officer, I've got to call the police. I'm like, okay, then, so you're saying that the police do exist and do get called out to crimes. So that when there's, like, a big old, like, brawl in the streets, why are the police not being like, what the fuck's happening? Like, what? Let's go out and stop this.
An understandable perspective, I will say, I can't remember what episode it is, but they do explain, or at least try to explain how, like, they keep this under wraps for the most part, but even the explanation they give, it doesn't really explain how they're going to... It doesn't explain how they'd get away with a dead policeman. Because that policeman was not part of the game. The policeman was just straight up murdered, so that's definitely going to require a normal police investigation.
I can't remember if it's this episode or next episode because they've kind of blurred together in my head, but at one point a girl is pushed off a rooftop in broad daylight, smacks into the pavement, and there's blood everywhere, but her body pixelates. People saw that! The police would get called out!
Dear me. No, this is definitely one of those shows where, for the most part, I feel like it's going to just require a suspension of disbelief, because if you think about it too much, then it's just going to be like, this does not work. But the concept is cool, that's the problem.
You've
Because
just
I
got
do
kind of
like the concept.
You've just got to accept it. For me, I've never been able to get into like VR anime, and there's like a surprisingly large amount of them. Where it's like, hey, we're all in this virtual world. This kind of like takes that, but like puts it. It's like the augmented reality.
It's augmented reality, yeah.
Like, and I much prefer this concept to being like, oh, we're all in like a fantasy VR world. But it does come with its own unique set of like, this does not work in the world you've set up problems sometimes.
Yeah, at least in the VR world, it's like, well, okay, it's VR, you can pretty much do anything, and no one will care, unless it's something like SAO Season 1, where the concept is if you kill someone, they actually die. No, yeah, I do like the setup of it being augmented reality, and it's pretty cool, and some of the explanations they give later on do kind of make sense. Well, not make sense, but at least explain away some of the concerns we have here, but definitely not all of them. But like I said, it definitely feels more like a show where you're kind of supposed to turn your brain off a bit.
You've just got to run with it. These people have superpowers, and they can fight in the middle of the street, and people only kind of care.
Yeah.
They only care a little bit.
But yeah, okay, so he runs up to a policeman gets killed, he gets cornered, his friend finally comes in and is like, hey, fuck off, because apparently this guy is a rookie hunter. And then his friend gets stabbed in the stomach, but not until he shot the other guy like 3 times, because he uses invisibility, but then he has like thermal vision, so it doesn't work on him anyway.
His friend's like, oh, if only I didn't have this useless super ability that I can only see people's auras. I'm like, it was very useful for seeing the Invisible Man. Like, that was the most useful ability.
In fact, it's a very useful ability overall, because it's revealed it's not thermal vision, like you said, it's like detecting people's auras, so it's like, you'd be able to see anyone coming for you.
But like, very specifically, it's like, if only I didn't have this useless power, I would have been able to do something. I'm like, fuck you, dude, you have a great power, you're just shit. You're terrible.
You just didn't know how to use it properly, apparently. Because you literally just have a thing that tells you where people are at all times. As long as you keep an eye out, you should know if anyone's trying to sneak upon you.
Darkness won't bother you. Invisibility doesn't bother you. Like, you have an advantage.
Walls don't bother you.
Yeah, all the things that would hold you back from finding someone do not bother you. You're the perfect support player.
/ perfect hunter if he could actually train himself up to, like, be stealthy.
Also, if I'm in this game, I'm not buying a goddamn crossbow. give me the gun. Give me a gun or something. At least it's not a crossbow.
I kind of want to know how far it goes. Like, can you get Gatling guns? Could you get, like, a mech suit that would help you wield said Gatling gun? How crazy does it go? Because I don't know yet.
I've seen sniper rifles. I've seen assault rifles. There's a lady who can control chains with her mind. Where does the power level stop? There's someone, again, I can't remember this episode or the next episode, there's someone who, like, makes an inferno with a piece of paper or something. Like, where did the powers end?
I'm very curious to see myself, because again, even though I've watched 7 episodes, you get a variety of powers, but you don't get. Anyway, I can't say much more without spoiling stuff. So yeah, that happens. Pardon me. Kaname takes his friend off to try and hide from the guy who they've slowed down, because again, shot 3 times with a crossbow.
I feel like he would have been better off just leaving his friend in the street with the other people. Like, there were other people in that street other than that police officer. Just leave him there. Hopefully someone will pick him up, you know?
Yeah, because he wasn't part of the match. He inadvertently fucked his friend over, because, like his friend explains later, it's like, he can only find you, because basically the panda guy can track him with his phone to a rough location, so it's like, I'm fucked if you stay nearby me, go away.
Yeah, leave him with just leave him in the street, someone will find him. You're leaving a trail to you, and also slowing both of you down.
And also, because again, he explains this later, it's like, he should have been like, right, so leave me with those random guys over there. They can call me an ambulance, because you can't call an ambulance whilst you're playing the game. That way, they can actually, save my life, and you can hopefully fight this guy undistracted.
Yeah.
Instead, he doesn't tell them any of that until they're hiding alone.
This guy's a terrible friend, is what we've learned.
Yeah, like, I'll give Kaname credit. He's just doing what he can to try and survive. I'm not dissing the main character in any way here. His friend is just a complete fucking moron.
His friend could have lived. He just explained the rules.
Like, say we were in this game and I was Kaname and you were the friend and you gave me all this information, I would be cursing at you so hard for telling me all of this after I drag you to an empty parking garage and we've been cornered by the guy. Be like, you told me this now? Now?
You had every opportunity while we walked the 20 minutes to get here, but you didn't. Okay.
Like, God damn it, Chris. But no, yeah, so they get cornered.
Even when he's looking at the mascot man in the street, there's dozens of people out there. He could have given his friend to anyone if his friend had just told him that this is how the game works.
It is called Darwin's game. I guess, he was retarded. He died, so...
Natural selection got rid of that one. And the gene pool was cleansed.
But no, yeah. So, they get cornered. He tells them all this about you can't call an ambulance or emergency services. Pretty much, you can't call anyone who's not playing the game whilst you're in a death match. Then he tells them to fuck off because he can track him to a rough location, so if they're not nearby, he'll be fine. And then I don't know how to feel about how the Banda, he's called, the invisible Panda Man. I don't know how to feel about how they dealt with Banda, because I liked it when he was fighting back and using methods like a fire extinguisher and stuff to reveal where he was. But then he gets taken out by a random car.
I mean, I quite liked it because I couldn't really see a way of him defeating. There was lots of delaying tactics, and I do like a good underdog fight. So I liked it when he was like, I've got a briefcase and a fire extinguisher. How do I kill a crazy invisible mascot? But
I'll give the character credit in that he's actually quite inventive with the tools he's given, as was proven in this fight / the fight to come.
I quite like the character was out of options. He was going to die, and then the car just it's a stroke of luck sort of stuff. I don't know, it didn't bother me too much.
Fair enough. I still don't know how I feel about the people in the car's reaction as well, where they're just we hit something, but I don't see anyone apart from a high school kid, and we obviously didn't hit him. But the front of your car's dented. I'd have a lot more questions.
I'd be there'd be a string of expletives coming from my mouth, and be like, "Fuck, this car is ruined now. I need to go and fix it."
Especially since the kid is staring at the car as well. I'd be straight up to that kid "What? Did you see what I hit? Help!" But no, anyway, that's just a minor detail. It really doesn't matter to the plot. So yeah, he defeats, in the quotation marks, this guy by letting the car kill him. And then we see the first pixelation, which we find out is what this street pixel art is. It's how to describe this to someone who hasn't seen the show. It's like the police white marking of a body in the street, apart from it's all pixelated
and scooped out of the ground.
And it looks like a very gruesome way to die. Imagine just chunks of your body vanishing at a time.
The mascot man was very okay with it.
Yeah.
He was fine. He was like, well, I've been defeated. Fuck you. I'm dead.
I'm confused. Do you feel pain when it's happening or not? Because, it got to the point where, a quarter of his head was missing and he was still able to talk, so I was just okay.
Are they, really dying? Are they being turned into butterflies? Are they being teleported somewhere else? What's happening here?
There are many questions, which the show is allowed to have because it's only the first episode. It'd be a bit of a lore dump if everything was explained episode 1. So I'll give them that. They've got time to explain these things.
And we've got a character who doesn't know anything, so there's a perfect way in.
So yeah, after dealing with that, he calls an ambulance. Goes to his friend. His friend is dead. So then he goes. I think from there he goes home. He uses a. Now, I don't know if this is just gaming lingo I'm not familiar with, or it's a Japanese thing. Are gachas the same thing as loot boxes? Because that's what it looked like. He was of course it's got a gacha function, and it just scrolled and then gave him a random item. I assume that's what that was.
I imagine it's kind of like a daily login bonus or something like that. Maybe because that's what it looked like to me. The game gives you. Oh no, maybe it's when you start a MMO, they'll give you I'll take RuneScape for an example. They give you a bronze sword. That's there you go. You're in. Here's your noob weapon. Maybe it was that. I don't know. Maybe.
But no, yeah, he does that. He gets a gun, and then there's a person we've been cutting to a few times throughout this episode. Shuka, her name is, a blonde lass who's also playing the game. Offers to explain it to him, and they organize a rendezvous. The main thing I'm confused about with that is, why did she get a notification that there was a new player playing the game?
I don't know. Did everyone get the notification?
Yeah.
But then, like, wouldn't he be like bombarded with messages? Instead, just she seems to care.
/ hunted by like everyone.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, that's another weird thing, but it's just like, okay, just let it go. Just let it go. This anime is obviously not gonna... the first episode, there's a lot of convenience. / stupidity.
This game could really do with a tutorial function for its new players.
But no, yeah, he seeks her out. They meet in what is the shadiest of locations. At least he knew that going in. He was just like, well, this seems like a trap. A dark, abandoned warehouse on the docks.
Yeah. I don't know why she was so shady, to be honest. Well, not so shifty, to be honest. She was like, if you have weapons, I'm just going to kill you. I'm like, well, obviously it's not a problem for you.
Yeah, also, okay, kind of fair enough not trusting someone who doesn't know their sigil, because they could just be bullshitting, and they might have a sigil that could really fuck you over. But to this newbie who's just been involved, who's just been brought in against his will to a death game where people are actively trying to kill him, and to expect him to go to a shady location unarmed, it's like, fuck you. I would have instantly been like, of course I'm armed.
Like,
people are trying to kill me.
Hey, she's armed with her weird chain things, but also, like, she never said not to. It wasn't like she said, come unarmed, and then he was like, fuck that. It was like, oh, come along. And then it was like not like you set any rules. I think you just want to kill him.
Yeah, no, it was weird. But yeah, no, they meet up. He gets like one free question, and he asks how to quit the game, and she's like, you can't. You die. That's about the only way to quit the game. And then, like we said, the distrust thing happens where he doesn't know his sigil. Sigils in this are your like unique powers. The heat vision / aura seeing one was his friend's. Hers is controlling the chains. And then, as we find out this episode, or at least kind of find out partially this episode, he seems to be able to create weaponry. At least that's all we see him do to this point. I think, or did he create the tape as well? No, he brought the tape.
He brought the tape. I don't know why he brought tape, to be honest. He was like, I've got all these self-defense items, like a really bright light and a stun gun. And then also tape. Great self-defense item, that one.
Maybe it was to tie up his opponents after he won?
Maybe.
Why wouldn't he bring rope then?
I guess it could be like the tape. I could say like, oh, if I get cut, I can then use the tape for first aid.
Which is what he did.
It's true, he did do that, actually.
Yeah.
But,
and to be fair, his whole thing is he doesn't want to kill, because naturally, if you've just been brought to a death game, where, and you've been raised in today's society, especially Japan, you don't want to kill people. So, it's kind of like a fair enough thing.
Yeah, fair enough. If someone's trying to kill me, though, I'm going to defend myself.
Now, I can see it from a Japanese perspective. From my perspective, however, I'd be like, people are trying to kill me. Right, let's get the big guns and fuck anyone who tries to kill me.
I'm going to empty out my bank account on buying an AK-47. And if someone's coming for me, they're going to get shot.
They're going to have to earn it. No, but yeah, so a fight scene ensues. It's mostly him running around in the dark. He gets a surprise on her by blinding her initially, and then he runs for the exit, and then she comes after him with the chains, blocks him off. I don't know whether or not to call it convenient or whatever about her having just like complete control of the warehouse, because she like closes the doors, locks the doors, can control the lights. It's like, whatever. Again, I'll let it slide.
I mean,
it looks cool.
It makes for a cool enough fight. I mean, that's kind of the bread and butter of the show. I imagine it's like, what cool fights can we what cool situations can we have our character think their way out of?
This show is kind of the epitome of the statement. For fiction writers / character designers and things like that will know the expression. The rule of cool is a established thing in fiction where it's just like, it looks cool, but does it make sense? And if it's cool enough, most people will excuse it not making sense. Which this show is very much trying to balance out, trying to make sense, but also just doing cool stuff. And it's episode 1, so I'm allowing the cool stuff to override the making sense, because
I mean, they've got rules enough that like make it make just enough sense for it to be legible. It's not complete insanity.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. So yeah, a fight scene ensues. he's almost killed, but then he seems to figure out, in quotation marks, his power at the last second, draws a gun on her, fires, and then through some misdirection / baiting, he manages to subdue her, because he sets up a remote, not a remote, but a gun on a pulley system, so that he's not actually at the location where it's firing, draws her there, and then runs in and summons a stun baton in his hand and knocks her down and points the gun at her face.
This is why I'd lose, because on the fly I'd never be able to rig up that gun system. I'm screwed. I've just got to shoot her, I guess.
Like I said before, this main character, I'll give him credit. He's reasonably intelligent, and he's good at coming up with. He's good at what's the word? Using the resources available to him to his advantage, / his new ability now. Which I'm curious to see how far this ability goes, because I'm like, can he make anything? Can he make just weapons? I want to know. How because this power is potentially very OP. Could he just be like, I want to make a nuke?
I want an automated sentry gun, please.
But no, yeah, I'm curious to see how his power goes, because at the end of the episode, there's I called her she doesn't look like it, but I called her a Futaba character, just a huge computer setup, and was just monitoring the situation. It's like, a new power we've not seen before. So I was like, great, here we go. Is it going to be some new OP power?
the nerdy computer girl. So that's a trope right there. But I'm assuming he's got some fancy uncatalogued power that nobody can know about. That's just how it usually goes.
Usually, it's anime. But yeah, he subdues her, and she tells him the only way not to kill someone in the game is for them to surrender during the fight, and basically become your subordinate, which she does. And then afterwards he faints from, I'm assuming, the stress, because it definitely wasn't blood loss. He got one cut.
To be fair, I'd faint in that scenario. Never fainted before, but I feel that's a very faint-worthy scenario.
He was running around a lot like a maniac. He was probably running on pure adrenaline by the end of it. But yeah, no, he faints. Then we briefly cut to... There's a slight pet peeve. I don't know if Funimation just fucked up with the translation, but we cut to a clan of people killing some random other clan, basically just establishing themselves as what's presumably going to be the main villain for the season. I don't know.
You have to assume.
Yeah, and in the Funimation subbing, at least, they called them Ace, as in ACE, whereas in the Crunchyroll, which is what I was originally watching it on, they were called Eighth, which made much more sense, considering the back of the guy's jacket was an 8.
I can't remember specifically, but I'm fairly sure in the dub they're called the Eights or something like that, the Crazy Eights or something like that.
Okay, so the dub gets it right then. The Funimation sub gets it wrong, and the Crunchyroll sub gets it right. I don't know, that was very weird. I was just like, why have you done that? It's quite clearly an 8. But anyway, yeah, we see this clan taking over another clan, and they say after that they've established control of... Is it Shibuya?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Well, a quick Google probably solved this for me, but I always thought Shibuya was like a district of Japan, but they call it the city of Shibuya. Not Japan, a district of Tokyo. But they call it the city of Shibuya. Unless it's a different city called Shibuya as well.
I was going to say, it might just be another city.
If someone's watched this far, or I guess a quick Google fix it, what is Shibuya? Is it a city or is it a district in Tokyo? I have no idea.
Or is it both?
It could be both, yeah.
But no, yeah. So that's a thing. And then we cut back to Kaname waking up in bed with a naked lady, Shuka, blonde girl, who ends off the episode saying, "Make a family with me."
And I assumed she was going to become some sort of crazy obsessed girlfriend type, and she didn't. Spoilers. I was convinced it was going to be like a. We watched a show where someone was like weirdly obsessed with something. I mean, that can encompass a lot of anime. I guess
that covers a lot of anime.
That covers a lot of anime. But I thought it was going to be. I think it might be Death Note. Actually, I'm thinking of.
Oh yeah. Well, that's certainly a good example, anyway.
Yeah, it's a good example of what I'm talking about at any rate. So I assumed it was going to be that. Turns out it wasn't. And in fact, I like the character a lot more than that.
Yeah, I keep forgetting you've seen episode 2, so I don't have to worry about spoiling that one yet. But anyway, we'll only talk about episode 1 for this, so we won't venture forth into that anymore. But yeah, that was the end of episode 1, a 50-minute session, which none of us were expecting, because, again, I forgot. So when I was watching it, I was like, this is going on for a while. I'm enjoying it, and then I looked at the time, I was like, oh, it's 50 minutes. That's why.
Yeah. It's what I'd describe as a reasonably good time. It's like, it makes it sound like I'm negative, but when I liked the show, it was good. But it's like not something that's inspired any great passion within me.
Yeah, it's not fantastic. Like if for whatever reason, as we watched it, Chris, you decided you want to drop it and watch something else, I'd be like, okay. Like, I'm not stupid invested enough that I have to see it all the way through, but I'm very happy to keep watching it for the anime review show. It's kind of like, what was it called? The show closest to this, if any of you watched the anime review show of the past, Fastest Finger First was kind of like on the same level, where we both watched it and we went, it's alright. And that was about it.
Yep. Never followed up on that. There might be season 2 of that. I'd watch that.
Yeah, we did. We did say we'd watch season 2 if it was a thing.
Yeah. I don't know. Didn't seem like it was a very popular anime, to be honest. But
I was gonna say I don't think it's had a season 2. I don't remember any mention of it. Anyway, talking about Darwin's Game. So general impressions at the end. I believe we both come to a resounding, Like yeah. it's slightly above meh in that I do really like the concept of it, because I always like those kind of concepts. Like the reason I originally watched SAO, Sword Art Online, was because of the concept of being trapped in a VR MMO where if someone loses all their health, they actually die. But then I was pissed off at SAO because that was actually half a season and then they got out. And I was like, really? You could have done so much of that.
I really don't. I've never watched that show. I assumed that was their whole premise, like, from beginning to end.
Nope. Half the first season, they get out.
And then what are the stakes after that?
Other VR MMO shenanigans which have real world consequences, but not to the same level. It's you'd have to watch it. It's annoying.
I see.
But no, I wouldn't recommend it if he likes that concept, because I really likes that concept, and then they only did it for half a season, which is a damn shame. But no, yeah, I do like the concept of this show, though. Just a game where you have to kill people in real life.
Yeah, and everyone's got crazy superpowers.
Mm.
I mean, I enjoyed the fights. I enjoyed well, in this first episode, I didn't really enjoy the characters that much. That's more of a future episode spoiler, I guess. But
yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed the fights. The premise is fun. It's a fine show.
It was another reasonable introduction to an anime, and hopefully the subsequent episodes can bring our opinion of it up a bit more, so that we feel a bit more invested in it. Also, just a random note, you won't get this, Chris, because you hadn't been keeping up to date on the seasons of anime, as I recall. But the music from this show is... I both love it and hate it, because it is straight up ripped from Fire Force, an anime of last season, which was really good, and I'd recommend that to anyone, including yourself, Krishna.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, Fire Force, a lot of fun, but the some of the action music in this is I think almost 1-for-1 Fire Force, which I find really weird, because don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with having obviously the same guy on multiple projects, but I feel like they got him to do that and he just kind of went, I'll just copy paste.
Is that not copyrighted by the other show? Is there like a common library of music that they can use or something? That was weird.
I don't know, it was really weird, because I was just listening to it, I was like, that is literally straight up from Fire Force. Like, he might have changed a thing or two, but that is... No, if you ever watch it, you'll see instantly what I mean if you watch it, like, back to back.
That's weird.
But no, yeah, right, weird random note, but it doesn't bother me, because I like the music from Fire Force, so... but no, yeah. So our opinion of that is a resounding meh. It's not quite a thumbs up, it's like a slight thumbs up.
So it's a wavering thumb. My thumb's twitching. It might be going up eventually, but, right now it's just kind of like... It's a little twitch above the hand.
Definitely not down, though. I don't dislike the show. I do like...
No, I'm happy watching it. It's reasonably entertaining.
But alright, that's the second anime done for this week. What is up next, Krishna, on your notes?
Next in my notes, and I've just realised I only wrote one note for this one, so I'm going to have to do this one purely off memory for the most part, is No Gun's Life.
Ah, yes, No Gun's Life. An interesting one, to say the least. No Gun's Life from last season, episode 1. We get the intro straight away. I'm still not sure how I feel about the intro.
I didn't like the intro very much. I mean, again, it's one that it's like talking about Hanako-Kun. I just don't think it fits the tone of the show. But
actually, that's a point. What do you think of the? Briefly go back to Darwin's game. What do you think of the intro of that? Because they play the intro at the end, so that is the intro. If you saw it,
I can't remember it, to be honest. And I've watched 2 episodes, so I must have seen it twice. So I honestly can't remember that one.
I guess that's his impression of it then, if you can't remember it. It's a valid impression.
so it left such a strong impression on me, it left none. There's no impression in my brain.
I know. Okay, then, going back to No Gun's Life, also for that one, like I said, the intro, don't know how to feel about it yet. We'll see as it goes. I might have an impression after a few more episodes, but I'm going to say straight off the bat, I kind of like this world's setup.
No Gun's Life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I've never been a huge fan of like cyberpunk, but still, when they explain some of the lore to you, I'm like, okay, that's interesting. It's like cyborgs in this world called Extended.
It's cyberpunk via like weird Japaneseness, I guess, where a man can have a revolver for a head. I mean, it's fine. Like, I can't say I'm super invested yet in its world, but I mean, the world's fine.
But right, okay, going on to plot-wise. The main character, Juzo Inui, known as the Revolver, there seems to have been a great war, in which cyborgs, known as Extended, emerged. Juzo seems to be going around solving problems caused by these Extended. After returning from a job at a bar, he finds his place broken into, with Extended and a kid waiting for him, with the security bureau after them, which leads off to the plot of the... no, it's kind of like a 2-parter. It's the first 2 episodes basically revolve around this plot, really, don't they?
Yeah, he gets the boy, he loses the boy, he regains the boy, and that's the plot. Really, that's the plot.
And then he gets a threat from the company.
Yeah, true. There's a little addendum to that.
But no, I mean, Chris gave an apt solution at the summary there of the plot of these next 2 episodes. The Extended, after he chases away the security bureau, and they bring up like a company name whose name I keep fucking forgetting because it is weird. Beruden, or something like that. Ugh.
Ooh, I don't know. It didn't really leave that much of an impression on me. They're evil, and they have a red logo, which means they're extra evil. So that's I can't remember their name. Much like I can't remember any of the characters' names.
No, yeah, the company. I'm just going to refer to them as the company because I don't even like saying the company name because that's a mouthful. Beruden.
Wayland Yutani. There we go.
The company. But no, yeah. After chasing away the company goons who are after this Extended, he explains how he's rescued this kid from an orphanage. He wants him to take him to a safe place. Then he fucks off as a distraction, and then a nun, which we saw earlier in the episode, finds Juzo as he's escorting the kid through the sewers. And then the nun naturally is not a nun. She's a weird cyborg lady with very little clothing, naturally, because anime.
Yeah. I'll be very specifically before fighting, she bares her breasts. Well, plus a little bikini, I guess, underneath that.
Of course, you gotta have a little coverage.
It's a distraction technique. It works on Mr. Gunhead, whatever his name is.
Juzo.
It works on him. He gets embarrassed by boobs.
Yes, he does.
A lot.
But no, yeah, that's she encounters him. There's I wouldn't even call it a fight, really. There's a brief exchange. She fires at him a few times. He takes cover. Then the other Extended that we met before, who gave him this job, pops out of nowhere, tries to help. Basically fucks up the whole thing.
Yeah, I feel like Mr. Gunhead had it under control. He seemed pretty calm about everything.
Yeah, he seemed a bit calm, a bit pissed towards the end when she was telling him what he was, and he was like, You want to try telling me what I am one more time? But no, yeah. Other extended comes in, fucks it up, they fall into the sewers. Then that extended gives us a bit more lore, basically saying how he was used as an experiment for this new thing called Harmony, which allows him to remote control extended, which is why there was nothing in that extended suit, because she shot it in the head and there was nothing there, which Juzo found weird. Yeah, that turns out to be a remote control suit, which the boy who he'd asked to rescue was controlling, so basically the boy was rescuing himself. Tetsuro or something like that? Yeah, Tetsuro was the kid's name. Right. So yeah, at the end of that episode 1, we see that Juzo stuck a tracker to the boy, and we finish the episode with him standing in front of the train that it's on, about to do something. That something being punch the train at the beginning of episode 2.
Punch the train with his weird revolver hand, which is enough to take out the train, I guess, even though it looks like it's using normal revolver bullets, but it's anime. So it's fine.
It's anime, he's a cyborg, super strength, I assume, is implied. / they were designed for a war, so... But, no, and then after that, he very swiftly... This is going into episode 2 now. It's very easy to summarize the plot of these, like I said. Going into episode 2, he very swiftly takes out the guard on the train, including the nun woman from before, whose name I've also not taken note of. God damn it.
I'm the wrong person to ask for Japanese names.
I was going to say, I'm not expecting you to remember that in the slightest. And then he rescues the kid, takes him... I think he straight away takes him to a safe location. I don't think there's anything between those two cuts.
No, he takes him to that blonde lady who does things.
Mary.
That's the one.
That's a normal name. You can remember that one.
Maybe after more than 2 episodes, I'll remember their name. Coincidentally, I think she might be my favourite character in the show so far. So,
I'd agree with that. Yeah, she has the most character so far, so it's kind of an easy contest. He takes her to Mary, who we see not experimenting, fixing another extended girl.
Backstreet Yakuza modifications or some such.
Yeah, basically she got illegal mods. It wasn't compatible. She was freaking out, and then she disassembled the mods and was like, "Come to me next time."
The dad said he paid a lot for that surgery. I'm like, you couldn't give her a leg. she's missing an arm and a leg. She's not going to be able to walk away from him.
Yeah, I did find that weird. She just disassembled it and was like, "Yep, she's good now." It's like, could you at least give her a leg so she could walk?
Yeah, I'd like it if she could walk away.
I guess she'll just have to be in a wheelchair for the time being. But no, yeah, after that, they have a little exchange. We get a bit more lore into how cybernetics works in this world. Basically, each extended is implanted with a sub-brain, I believe they called it, and they describe the sub-brain as the driver's seat and the normal brain as the driver. And if the sub-brain stops working, an extended's just fucked.
Do their limbs just stop working at that point, or whatever they're using just needs power, or does it freak out? I guess it freaks out like that girl was freaking out, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because the whole point of it is that if it was just the brain alone, there'd be too much stress on the brain and the nervous system itself. So I assume it's just kind of the brain would be overloaded, is what I'm assuming. Because if it was just a case of the cybernetic part stopped working, I'd be like, oh, okay, I can live with that. Just get the sub-brain replaced. But I assume, because they made it sound a lot more lethal.
I'm sure they'll get more into it, since we have a character who has the ability to control that with his mind, or at least something in his voice box.
But yeah, on newer models, the subbrain is built externally. On older models like Juzo, they're built internally, so they're not easy to access.
I mean, I have to ask, why would they ever switch from doing it internally to externally then? Why would they do that?
I assume it's to make them easier to control, because if you have easy access to the thing that will fuck them up if you destroy it, then they're probably much more inclined to listen to you.
I could also be for maintenance, I guess. So you don't have to you don't have to do like extensive surgeries to get at them. But I feel from like a day-to-day perspective, what if you fell over and accidentally hit your second brain off a wall or something? Oh shit! I guess I'm having an aneurysm now. It just seems way more impractical to have it on the outside.
Oh, dear me. Yeah, no, fair enough. I assumed it was a case of, because being a huge sci-fi person, I mean, you yourself are one as well, kind of goes along the lines of, like, you know how in Star Trek they have the genetically engineered people, way back when, I don't know if you know this law, but they had like what do they call it? The eugenics war, where they had genetically enhanced humans.
It's where Khan came from. He was like the leader of the genetically enhanced people or some such.
Yeah, because they thought themselves superior, they went to war with humanity and stuff, and my brain immediately went, so that was, the sub-brain was their way of trying to, like, counteract that, and, like, if they tried to rise up, they could be like, well, we have easy access to where to kill you. But I might be thinking too much into it.
Yeah, it could be that.
Yeah, it could be that, or it could just be, like you said, an impractical design. I don't know how far this the manga author took it.
Thinking about it logically, like it's either your way or it's like a maintenance way. Like we did, like you could explain it away by like, oh, like if it breaks, we can get to it easier, I guess, instead of having to like, because I guess if it breaks on like someone who has it on the inside, like you have to do some like pretty quick emergency surgery before they have a brain aneurysm or whatever it is. So
it would be much more of a pain in the ass to get to someone internally than just be like, oh, okay, just replace it on the outside.
I mean, I guess either way, it was just something I was thinking about. Like, why would you change that? It seems like a terrible idea. But I guess with a bit of thought into it.
Yeah, again, I don't even know why my brain immediately went to that. I think that was just me trying to like explain it away. But no, yeah. So that happens. He's also getting a bit antsy because his cigarettes got wet, and he only likes like one particular brand of cigarette. And then,
I mean, when they explained it later in the episode, they're like, "Oh, it's got this certain amount of medication." I was like, "Oh, okay, that's why." And then he was like, "No, it's not why. I'm just a weirdo." I'm like, okay, I guess that's fine as well. It's just, I mean, I kind of liked the other explanation, but
yeah, I liked the other explanation as well. To be fair, I don't think he was. I don't think he was. Necessarily telling the truth when he was just like, I don't need it for that reason, because immediately afterwards he was like, and now I'm pretty much gone. And he had to be carried out by Mary, pretty much. So I think he still needs it. I think he just didn't want to admit that in front of the company. Possibly. I don't know. But I do also like that explanation more.
I like that. If that's the explanation and he was bluffing, I much prefer that route of things. Route of events.
Again, it's because it's the first two episodes. We'll have to wait longer to see if it's actually true or not, assuming the topic comes up again. But no, yeah, he's getting antsy because he doesn't have his favorite cigarette brand. The rest of the episode is basically him looking around for it. He tells Mary to ring him if the boy wakes up. And then he can't find it anywhere in the city apart from one vending machine, which has cops watching it, who then drag him to the company representative, who basically threatens him and says, hey, we want the boy back. If you give us the boy, we'll give you all the cigarettes in the city that are in this box.
At first, when they were going through like their explanation before, they were like, "Oh, it's got all this medication," and I guess even I was thinking like, this is really weak leverage. Hey, how about you give us this boy so we can kill him for some cigarettes? I was like, that's terrible leverage, my company dude. But then it turned out like they had a different explanation.
Yeah, the medicine part.
For the medicine part, I was like, shit, this man must really like his cigarettes if he's willing to kill a boy to get them.
Yeah, no, I was also very confused by that at first, because I was like, I don't feel like this man, as you've established in these last two episodes at least, would hand this boy over to you just for some goddamn cigarettes, and then they say the medicine thing, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense now.
That makes more sense.
You'd have to be a real fucking cunt to be like, yeah, sure, kill the boy, I'll take the 6.
You'd have to be a right old arsehole. Or really addicted to cigarettes.
Or both.
One might necessarily come along with the other.
But yeah, no, so that meeting's a thing. He eventually, naturally, because, he spent the last 2 episodes trying to rescue this boy for basically free, because he knows the boy doesn't have any money, or at least I assume he knows. And he's like, nah, fuck off. And he does the anime thing of he briefly powers up again and kicks their ass, and then afterwards he's like, now I'm dead. And I think that's about it. Mary comes along, helps him slightly by knocking out like a sniper that was apparently watching him, and then helps walk him out of there. And that's
while wearing
where we wrap
a
up.
mask that reminded me kind of Danganronpa for the PS Vita.
I can see that, actually, yeah. Even though I've never played it, I've seen screenshots of it, and it's like, yeah, that fits.
It was a creepy, like, rabbit mask, and I know that it's a bear in that game, but at any rate, kind of reminded me of that.
But no, yeah, and that's kind of the summary of these 2 episodes. So, I'm guessing from the few points that you've pitched in / your lack of notes, your opinion of this show is kind of meh as well.
It's kind of like the mirror image of Darwin's game, where it's like it's fine, but slightly on the negative side of fine. I thought the action was kind of dull. From like a design, I thought the animation was kind of dull, and the characters were all right. I didn't like. I can't remember his name now. Gunhead that much.
Juzo.
He was. I don't know if it was the dub, but it was going for like this like weird like sort of like film noir style where he's like, I don't let anyone touch my gun, only those I trust, as he's smoking on the cigarette in the smoky streets, and it just didn't work for me, I guess is the summary of the story. It's not like I hated it, it was fine, but like a little bit on the not like side, whereas Darwin's game was like a little bit on the like side.
Fair enough. It might just not be your style of thing, which is fair enough for me. I'm actually I'm slightly more positive on it than I am Darwin's game. Actually, again, I'm not in love with the show, but I do quite like it so far. But we'll see where it goes, because obviously we don't know where the main plot's really going to go yet. All that's been established is he's rescued this kid who is like the missing son of the company's CEO. And now the company's possibly going to be after him, but otherwise we don't really know what's going to happen yet. So,
and he also wants to make this child his partner for some reason. I don't know why he's decided this unconscious child shall be his partner, but he has.
I mean, it would be very useful if you could manipulate Harmony, the ability he has, I suppose, when dealing with Rogue Extended. True enough.
And I want
that would be the main
to pull
benefit.
that trigger on his head. So
I also want that to happen. I'm so curious to see what happens. I assume it's just a functioning gun. Just big.
I think it's just a big gun. I assume it's got explosive rounds. But
because they said like it can only be that they designed them that way so that they can only be operated with like 2 people, which I find weird. He could just reach up and grab it.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like he could just reach around and pull the trigger himself. I'm not sure he needs a second person for that, but
whatever. Anime logic. We'll let it go for now. I just want to see someone fire that thing, like you said.
I just want to see him shoot someone. God damn it.
But no, yeah. Okay, so again, general impressions. Chris's is meh, but slightly on the negative side. So the opposite of Darwin's game. Mine is I slightly like it more than Darwin's game. But to be fair, if cyberpunk / noir isn't really your thing, then you might not like it, because that's definitely the sort of direction it's trying to go, with the typical comedy anime moments from time to time as well.
I feel like the anime comedy didn't jive with the noir so much, and the noir, I don't know, something with me and noir, every time I see it, even if it's in something serious, I'm like, are you joking with me? Like, it seems like his noir styling has always just seemed like a bit insincere to me. And that's just me, really. It's not really a knock against the show. I'm just like, I just don't jive with this like storytelling approach that well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, fair enough.
I just don't trust anyone. Like, it seems melodramatic, you know. Like, are you being like, is this a parody, or are you serious about your lack of trust?
I was gonna say, I can easily see how someone watching noir could see it as parody. Because a lot of the dialogue and things they say do come across like that sometimes. Because noir is a very much... Like, every genre has its tropes, but noir is very firmly entrenched in its tropes. Like
in its like mood, like the silhouette of a man smoking a cigar as he moodily looks over a steaming city at night. This is my city. I love my city. And then, that sort of thing. Like, just like melodramatic nonsense a lot of the time.
Yeah, like, I imagine the first ever noir novel or film or game came out, I'm sure people were like, ooh, I like this. But then everything afterwards is kind of pretty much the same. Like, obviously not the settings, because the settings can be vastly different. And an immediate example I could think of is, what was it called? It was Telltale Games, The Wolf Among Us. That's very much noir. He plays the big bad wolf, who is the moody detective who, to be fair, I feel like most noir main characters, when they're always... The moody detective is always exactly the same.
They're a very similar character.
Yeah, and it's kind of... I feel like with every noir I've been experienced to, it's always just been the same. I'm sure you could do something interesting with the genre. But,
it depends. I like some noir stylings. I like the imagery of like noir. It's mostly to do with like story and dialogue. It just makes me feel like they're making fun of me. I don't know. I'm like, why? I guess when I hear such overdramatic, melodramatic like dialogue, I'm like, is this a joke, mate? I don't. Like, are you yanking my leg?
But
I mean, I like. Sorry, the point I was going. Batman the Animated Series has some noir stylings to it, but it's not that sort of thing. I guess. I don't know. Batman has a lot of noir elements to him, and I guess I love Batman, so I'm not totally adverse to it. But
but for the most part,
I'm not a huge fan of noir stuff.
Okay, well, fair enough. That was No Guns Life, episodes 1 2. And now on to the final anime of this week, which... I've been debating how to do this. Right. We're gonna try it a slightly different way than normal. Okay, so the one for this week is ReZero. Now, I absolutely love ReZero to pieces, and I've seen the whole thing all the way through before, and even when I was writing notes for the recap of this, I had to try so hard not to accidentally say anything spoilerish, because there were a few things I'd write down and be like, no, that hasn't come up yet, deal. So, Krishna, I want you to take the lead on this one, simply because I don't want to risk spoiling it.
Right. Now, you picked the one that I have literally 0 notes on, but I did watch it like not that long ago. So I will give my best go.
Good luck. I'll try and fill in any holes as we go, but I just don't want to risk spoiling the show because I love it to pieces. And if you end up enjoying it, then I really don't want to spoil it for you.
Right. ReZero. We start with a boy. He's at a convenience store, and he is buying some noodles and shit because he's hungry, I guess. And that's cool. Except he walks out, he's like, I'm real tired from... I can't remember what he's tired from specifically, but he's tired from something.
It's like the gym / gaming in his room all day.
What I have to ask, where's he getting his money from to do this? But anyway, if he's like a recluse shut-in, as he mentions later on, I'm like, where? I want to... How are you doing it? I want your life, because I am a recluse shut-in.
I feel like he's a school student, so he probably just has allowance from his parents or something.
Probably. But anyway, he goes out, he's like, oh, maybe I'm hallucinating, some weird wibbles in reality happen in front of him, and then boom, he's in a land full of crocodile men and other such hybridizations of man and beast, and he accepts it real quick. He's down to fuck straight away.
He is. I did make a note on this on purpose because I just wanted to explain this one right off the bat. I don't know if you are fully aware, / have what, because I can't remember. I don't think we've covered it a lot on the anime review show. Do you know the isekai genre?
I know it in passing, I think.
Yeah, well, the isekai genre is what I described before with things like SAO, or this, where the main character gets transported to another world. So in SAO's case, a VR world, in this case, a literal other world. And after SAO came out, basically that genre blew up, and there's been like 10 isekai released every season for like the past 5-6 years, and to the point where people are now like, please no more isekai. So it's very quickly become a thing in anime where it's just like most main characters are aware of all isekai tropes, which is what the jokes are going for in the beginning here. So if you don't know isekai, it's like kind of like, this guy's weird.
I mean, I assumed because he was a recluse shut-in that he was just weird. So I was like, okay, he evidently knows some rules about getting teleported to other worlds. Or he's like, obviously a cute girl has summoned me here. Otherwise I wouldn't be. I'm like,
Yep.
You're leaping to some conclusions there, my dude, but I'll roll with it. Why not?
He's literally just listing the tropes of the genre.
Anyway, he's wandering around. He's got himself some noodles. So I'm like, well, at least he's not going to starve for a little while. Because if I was teleported to another world, I'd be like, oh shit, I forgot nothing.
It depends. If they're dried noodles, he's fucked, because he's boiling water.
Well, I'm sure he could make a fire in the wilderness and boil himself some water for his noodles.
He could get half of a meal out of it.
Yeah, he also has some like crisps, so he's got a few days in the tank of not starving at the very least. Anyway, he's wandering around, figuring out what he wants to do. He tries to magic a girl out of the street, which again I was like, why would you assume you've got magic? But I guess that's an isekai thing.
Yep.
So I guess he's aware that he should have magic here. Or he has some sort of special ability. Thing. And then he tries to buy some apples. The dude's like, get out of here, you penniless bum. I don't sell things to... Let's not go
bankrupt
there.
People. He doesn't sell things to bankrupt.
Anyway, he's sad. He goes into a back street and some muggers are like, we're going to mug you. And then in a surprising burst of athletic skill, he like clowns two of them out straight away. I was like, damn, if I was getting mugged, I would not be able to crack out the karate for this. He's like, I've been swinging around wooden swords my entire life because I'm a loser. I'm a penniless loser. I'm like, cool, but I swing wooden swords around myself, but wouldn't be able to clown out two muggers like that. Yeah, I can't remember what happens with these muggers specifically, but then eventually some lady I forgot her name of. I want to call her Feltz or Furs or something like that.
Depends which one you're on about. There's two that run by. You don't know the first one.
The first one, the one who
Felt.
is running Felt. There you go. There's something beginning with F that has something to do with furs. So yeah, she's like, yeah, I'm not here to save you. She runs past, and then a much nice person turns up and uses ice magic to get him out of the situation. And then it turns out she's had some shit stolen from her. A brooch with a diamond in the middle. And then they set off about the city getting into shenanigans. And she...
Nope.
Oh, hello.
Are you being summoned? Do I need to take over?
No, I think my father just came home. I've lost my place. Where were we up to?
He'd just been saved by Amelia, and they were going around the city looking for her brooch.
Amelia?
Sorry, Satella.
Satella? Yes, that one.
Was that her name?
Yeah, that's the name at the end when he's like, hey, Satella, after he's died several times. She's like, why are you calling me the name of the evil something? Okay, I don't know why you would give that name in the first place then, but there you go. That's that. Anyway, they're going into shenanigans around the town. Turns out he's illiterate, and she's very okay with that. She's okay with a lot of things, to be honest. He's like, you're going to end up wasting your life helping people because he's just too nice. It turns out she thinks he's too nice, and they both think they're losers who are going to waste their lives, except she's a hot loser, and he blurts that out at some point, and her little demon friend, which I forgot she has spirit friends because she's a half-elf, who has spirits in diamonds or some such. I feel like I'm rambling, mostly because I don't have any structure to this. I'm bouncing.
You've got it right for the most part. Where were you up to? You basically got up to the point where they were talking to each other, and she's making a deal out of her being a half-elf, and he's like, so?
I'm assuming this comes back later. Maybe there's some racism against these half-elves.
I would assume so, but that's because going by fantasy tropes, it's like, yeah, humans are generally racist towards everything, so,
Yeah, humans known as the world's worst racists. Never heard of a Nazi elf. Plenty of Nazi humans. Just think about that one. It's there. The evidence is real. Now, they save a little girl from being lost. He does a magic trick. It's fun. He's a good character. I don't know what happens after that one, but eventually it turns out that little girl's the daughter of the stall owner who was calling him a hobo before, and then they get help finding out where the brooch is because they've been asking around for this blonde girl around town. Turns out her name's Felt and she lives in... Well, she doesn't live in the slums. She's around the slums selling off her stolen merchandise to an old man. There's a very large club.
Old Man Rom.
I'm assuming... I'm going to spot... He has the ability to come back after death. I'm assuming these characters all become like reoccurring characters that are saved a lot, or is it just the two girls? Or is it none of them?
I could answer this question, but I don't want to. It's the problem with having seen the show before.
I feel like at least two girls probably end up sticking around.
You on about Sattler and Felt?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know, the ogre man, I guess he seems far more expendable to me.
Harsh.
True, harsh. At the same time, he looks expendable. He's anime expendable. What can I say?
I mean, he does die. What, 3 times?
Something like that. Also, like hot anime girls. Well, in universe hot, one of them looks like they could be 12. The other one definitely not 12. It's just a half elf of some description. I'm just going to not dig myself into this hole. At any rate, girls aren't expendable in anime. It's the summary of my point. Unless it's
unless it's a Kanako-Kun.
And you just kill people at random.
I like how we both went to the same example. The Kanako-Kun or, like, Season 1 Attack on Titan.
True, unless your name's Mikasa, at which point you can't die. You're invincible.
You have main character plot armor.
Anyway, they're looking for Felt. Turns out she's in the slums. They go there. He goes in to negotiate, which other than plot advancing reasons, I don't really know why Satella would send him in there alone. It's like, oh, you go in alone. I'll be like, I'll come with you, just in case something goes horribly wrong. Like it does, and they both die.
Yeah, no, that is a little weird. I mean, she kind of tries to justify being like, I'll trust you to handle this. I'll come in if I hear anything. But still, it's kind of like, just why don't you both just go in? I feel like when you're in the slums and everyone is staring at you, you definitely want to stick together. Like, I know she has ice magic and she can, for the most part, take care of herself. As long as she's not caught off by surprise, like she was.
I mean, but she's already had something stolen from her today. She's liable to get mugged again.
I feel like sticking together would be the best plan. Even if all he is just a meat shield.
Yeah. I mean, he's got some, like, explosive athletic strength, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, they try to explain that away with, again, the gym and the sword swinging thing, which I suppose it's not like random wood sword swinging. It'll probably be like a proper kendo sword that he's been training with.
True.
Which those things are fucking heavy. No, yes, they definitely probably should have stuck together, but Ayo, his first life, as you said, he comes back.
Yeah, he gets killed, and this is where he comes back. He's very confused about it, as I imagine you would be if you just died.
Just a tad.
That'd be very disorienting, I imagine. And then, I don't know. I've never been in a situation where I've been in a fantasy world full of strange mythical creatures, died and then come back to life. So I don't know how quick I'd catch on to it. But I was a bit like when he was like going around to like, I was like, catch on, like the thing. You're back exactly where you were in the same conversation you were before. You don't remember how you got here, and it's daytime. I feel like there's some logic. Catch on, my dude. But he doesn't for a while. Keeps bumbling into characters and going to places, and
I think by the end of the episode he's on his 3rd life, isn't he? Because it's the 2nd life where he kind of like goes straight to Rom's.
Yeah, in this one he goes straight to the place where he found where him and because he assumes that she's in trouble, even though like she was quite clearly dead. But he assumes like she's in trouble at that place, so he goes back, and it turns out the guy he found dead there before isn't dead, and that's when I'd be like, time travels afoot, good sir. But anyway, I might not instantly leap to I have the magic ability to come back to life again, but I'd be like, I time travelled somehow. Something's very wrong.
Yeah,
either that, or I'm bleeding out on the floor right now and hallucinating like a lot of weird shit.
Yeah, the first time around I was watching the show, I was with you. I was just like, how have you not instantly understood? Because it's like you've made him aware. He's aware of the isekai genre. How is he not aware of what he's done yet? But the more I think about it, I'm like, okay, well, he did kind of just have a traumatic experience of dying. Maybe he's just thinking that was possibly a dream, and he's trying to, like, verify things around on the second time. But anyway, that's me making excuses for the show. They never explicitly say it. This is just how I'm reasoning it in my head. It's like, okay, fair enough. I've never exactly died and came back to life before. So, yeah, maybe he just thinks he's a bit mad.
I can't sympathise with the situation because I have no idea what I'd be feeling. Because I've never been immortal before, as it turns out. Anyway, he goes to the place where it's what was before. We meet a delightful cast of characters in the ogre man called Rom, I do believe. And
yes,
Felt.
We have Rom, Felt, and then later on the negotiator, whose name I believe is Elsa.
Sorry, you broke up a bit for me, though, you said?
I said we have Rom, Felt, and then later on the negotiator, whose name I believe is Elsa.
Ah, right. I did not know that lady's name. Well, I might have. They told me it. Again, I can't remember anyone's names, apparently.
I'm the name guy on the anime talk show.
In my head, I have every character's name from Game of Thrones, yet I can't remember a single name from the show I watched an hour ago, apparently. Anyway, he's like, I've got a magical device that I will trade you for that brooch, and it turns out he's going to give them his cell phone, which, I mean, I guess is useless where he's at, so... I mean,
Yeah.
my first thought was like, I wouldn't give that away, but I was like, what's the point holding on to it?
It's like, you can't call anyone, he tried.
Like, those people might get pissed off when it runs out of charge, and can no longer take the pictures that he's, like, sold them on. But, I mean, it's part of his charm. He, like, manages to wheedle his way to the situation in a very charming way.
Yeah, he's not a retarded character. Like, he's a bit slow on coming to grips with, like we said, his power. But otherwise, he tries to use his head. And he's not perfect either.
Oh no! Like, in this scenario, he makes a mistake by telling that lady who he wants to give that brooch to.
Yeah, it's a big doo-doo. He, like, wins the negotiation, and then they're like, oh, okay, cool, what are you going to do with it? He goes, I'm going to return it to its original owner, and everyone looks at him like, you fucking idiot.
I don't really know why the two thieves, well, the thief and Felt and Ogre Man Rom, I don't know why they're so perturbed that he revealed that information. Maybe they were just read the situation as soon as, like, he said it, the other lady's, like, demeanor changed, and they were like, oh shit, this has gone wrong.
I assume that they knew, possibly, who because it sounds like, from the way they worded that, the lady's part of an organization, because when she's like, oh, so you're with them. So I'm assuming that they possibly knew that. That's the only reason I could think of, that they'd be like, shut up.
Yeah. But, this is like, none of the characters know it, but I guess she is there to murder them anyway, because in the other version of events...
They were already dead.
They were already dead, she killed them.
Mm.
So I was like, because I was about to say, she's weirdly fine with not getting that thing, but then again, she would probably just murder them and take it anyway. Yeah. Anyway, he dies again. It's the summary of this fight. The ogre and Felt put up a decent enough fight.
I was going to say, we do actually get a fight scene this time. Last time he was just killed out of nowhere. This time we get the ogre fighting her for a fair few minutes.
The ogre puts up a fight, and...
Felt lasts like 2 seconds.
Yeah, she gives it her best go, I guess, which was jump right at her. just jump straight at her, got taken out straight away. He also kind of puts up a fight. He dodges a blade and punches a lady and then gets stabbed again.
He thinks he dodged the blade.
Well, he dodges the first blade, the second blade, the hidden blade, not so much.
But
and it looks really painful to die. The lady just lets him bleed out, and I guess that's the downside of having that form of immortality.
You feel the death. And then the episode wraps up as we, as Chris mentioned before, with him coming back to life. He faints in front of the stall guy this time, and the stall guy's like, fuck the money, just have these, be better, please. And then he sees...
Proving that the stall guy's not that bad a guy, he just hates poor people.
He's not a complete cunt. Like, if you're ill and dying in front of him, he's not going to just let you die, apparently. It's just like... But to be fair to him, Subaru looks completely healthy in the beginning, so he's probably just like, get out of here, you have no money, dick. And then he sees Sattler walk by, runs after her, shouts the name, and everyone, and I mean fucking everyone on that street, just turns and looks at him with, like, sweating buckets, like, what the fuck did he just say? Which I find kind of hilarious, but at the same time I'm like, okay. So Sattler's a bad word, good to know.
Why this lady called herself that in the other life, who knows? But she did, which was weird.
And yeah, she just turns around, kind of looking angry at him. It's like, why are you calling me by, what was it? Look at my notes here. The Witch of Envy's name.
And that's where our episode ends. And that was a plot summary by Chris.
It was a plot summary by Chris.
It was bouncing around.
No, I mean, you did pretty damn well. I don't think there's anything you missed. Obviously, there's occasions where I could go into more detail, but you still got the major plot beats, so it doesn't really matter. So I guess the next thing to ask then is, what did you think of like the general concept, plots, the characters?
I liked the show. I liked the characters. I mean, my favourite part of the show is when he was just going around looking for Felt with Satella, I guess, even that's not her name. It was charming. It was fun. I liked when he charmed the little girl into not crying, and then they
with the magic trick.
It kind of makes me sad that doesn't exist anymore in continuity. I guess.
Yeah, because obviously he did that after. Oh yeah. Oh,
that kind of makes me a bit sad, but that's the premise of the show.
He doesn't have that favor anymore. So from what we've seen, he basically has the he hasn't realized it yet, but he basically has the ability to respawn like in a video game. But obviously dying is painful. He goes through that part, unlike a video game character. There are some useful things he could do with that. I feel like I would repeat my steps and be like, go get that favor again so I could cash it in later.
It would get very tedious, but yes, I would do that. But then again, he's not really caught on yet as to what's going on.
So maybe he will do that as we go. I don't remember absolutely everything that happens in the show, detail for detail. I just remember like the major plot / characters. So I can still theorize on some of this stuff.
It's kind of like a much more gruesome Groundhog's Day.
Yeah, I did like that. They seemed to emphasize, especially in that second life. The first life, it's kind of like just, he's dying and he's dead. The second life, it's like they really emphasize how much pain he's in and how he's fearing dying. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it's that kind of ability. It's not the greatest, at least not whilst it's happening.
I mean, it gives you infinite retries at life, but yeah, I know it's a horrific experience to go through.
Which it would. I mean, it's being sliced across the gut, basically being gutted is no.
It's not an experience you're going to forget.
It's like early seasons of Game of Thrones. You get stabbed in the stomach, you're pretty much guaranteed dead. You don't ever want to take a gut wound.
Doesn't matter what time period you're in. If you get stabbed, you're probably going down. Unless you're right outside A&E already.
But no, yeah, I would agree. The characters. Actually, no, I guess I do like the concept of this show, especially, but that's with foreknowledge as well. But no, the characters are highlighted in this first episode. Technically, 2 episodes. The director's cut, for anyone who doesn't know, is ReZero again, but with a few minutes of unseen animation in some episodes, which I don't think there was any this episode. And basically, they keep combining 2 episodes into one, so these hour-long specials, hence why we're only doing 1 at a time. So it's technically 2 episodes of content packed into 1. But no, yeah, the characters are emphasized. It's kind of just like basically just character development. The first 2 episodes, really. You get to know Subaru a lot, and they do a good job of it because he's a very he's a bit goofy. He's a likable character though, and he's clearly established to be like nice and not necessarily do the best things in his own interest, but they do a good job of it.
He's a very likable character. He's a fun, likable character who has a nice dynamic with the other characters he interacts with. I kind of wish I knew more about him, but I guess I don't really need to know more than he's a loser who lives at home. I guess is the summary of his hermit's life.
I think, if memory serves me correctly, I can guarantee you'll definitely get to know more about him. The show does do character stuff right, if I'm remembering correctly. So I don't think you need to worry about that too much.
Well, that's my intro to Isekai. It's a good show. My favourite show of that bunch is probably Toilet-Bound Hanako-Kun, but this is like a strong second. It was a good show. Yeah, it's a fun watch.
a solid entry for you. Good. I mean, my opinion of this show is pretty much going to be the same every week, unless there are episodes that I don't like, and I've just forgotten, which is, I loved this. I absolutely loved it. I'm very happy I'm rewatching it, because I think I watched it like 2-3 years ago. And like I said, the reason they're doing the director's cut now is because season 2 is about to come out in April, and I'm really fucking hyped for that, because we've been waiting for season 2 for years due to them waiting for like the manga, because unlike certain shows which will just go on and get stuff wrong, they decided, you know what, we're going to wait. We got good stuff out of the manga, we're just going to wait for the source to catch up so that we can actually get a full season out of this again.
That's a sensible way of doing it.
So, no, yeah, I love this show. I loved the intro. It was a solid introduction to a show, and I can see why I liked it from the off. It's probably going to be my opinion every week. I'm going to be very boring on this. For ReZero, it's mostly going to be, what does Chris think?
We're going to have wacky Chris recaps, where he gets things wrong and is scatterbrained, for the most part.
again, you got all the major the plot beats down in the correct order, so it's fine. If you're ever uncertain, you can just ask me, because, I'm the note guy when it comes to plot, so. But like I said, I don't think there's anything you really missed. There are a few things we could mention, but nothing major, so. Like the bullies, he does, like the first time around, he briefly fights them off, and then one pulls out 2 knives, and he goes like, "I'm sorry!" And then the second time around, he just beats the shit out of all 3 of them and fucks off.
He learned. The one time he learned from his past life, he punched the guy with the knives in the face first.
Yeah, he was just like, "You have weapons, die," and then got the other ones.
And then got the other 2 with his incredible martial arts skill.
I think I'm glad they're establishing all that stuff at the beginning, so he doesn't just pull it out of nowhere. Later on, he's like, okay, so he's reasonably strong. He's got some technique. He can actually put up a fight, but he's not obviously the strongest person, because when they kick him in the face and stuff, he instantly just goes out. He's not a what to call it? Actually, no, never mind. My point's I kind of muted it in my head, but anyway. Yes. Okay, and I guess the last thing to do to wrap this up would be, I guess, from best to worst, how would you rank these anime out of the ones we've watched? So, your favourite to least favourite, Krishna?
My favourite,
apart from My Hero, because that doesn't count yet.
True. I'm not actually, because I'm a dub scrub. I'm not actually caught up on the latest My Hero anyway. But my favourite is Toilet-Bound Hanako-Kun, which I'll always say that in the wrong order every time. I was thoroughly charmed by that show, just top to bottom. Little I disliked about it. Next up would be ReZero. Again, very strong fun. Both of them don't take themselves too seriously, if that makes sense. They're just fun rides to go on. Now, next up would be Darwin's Game. It's fine. It's all right.
It exists.
It's got decent enough action to keep me engaged. And then last would be No-Gun's Life, which is mostly just it just didn't gel with me so well on the first. It's not like I hated it. It was fine. But it's just it was on the lower end of fine compared to Darwin's Game, which was on the higher end of fine.
All right, fair enough. And for me, slightly different ordered list. Mine would be ReZero at the top, because I love that show to pieces, and the intro for this week was absolutely solid. I do love the intro to Hanako-Kun. I'll give it that, but I guess I kind of just prefer I prefer ReZero's genre more. But yeah, Toilet-Bound Hanako-Kun is a swift and very close second, because that was also an excellent introduction to a new show, and I do love the characters and the comedy in that as well. And then I'm going to take back what I said before. I'm actually going to put these tied third, because I don't know which one I'd prefer over the other. But they're both kind of the same for me. No-Gun's Life and Darwin's Game, they're both meh for me. Meh on the slightly positive side, because I obviously like No-Gun's Life a bit more than Chris, but I don't know, I need more episodes to develop the characters more, / learn more things about the world, and see how the general plot goes to determine if they're more than a meh, or if they're going to go downhill. I hope they don't go downhill, because we do drop shows if we don't like them enough. We've done that, I think, 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, I don't think either of them are candidates for dropping yet. It depends if they continue. If they get slightly worse, and then just continue being slightly worse, I might get exasperated with them. But as it stands, they're both fine enough to continue.
I agree with this sentiment. So for now, we should keep on watching all of these. And that is it for episode 1 of the Anime Talk Show. We've referenced the Anime Review Show a lot in this. I'm going to have to try and distinguish the two a lot. Anime Review Show, the show of old. Anime Talk Show, current season. But no, yeah, so anyone who's stuck around this long, 2 hours, 10 minutes, this is probably about the normal run time for what the Anime Talk Show is going to be, / the usual format. It might get a bit shorter once we catch up to current anime season, because we started this mid-season, so that's why we're watching multiple episodes, whereas if we catch up, I imagine we're just going to watch, well, at the moment we're watching like 9 episodes a week, or 7 episodes a week, 1 or 2, but we'll be watching only like 1 episode when we catch up a week, so...
Also, this is our introduction to all the shows. I imagine we'll have some less in-depth thoughts. Well, not in-depth, like, we had to, like, establish our initial opinions on these ones. So it might end up being a bit shorter. It might end up being a hell of a lot longer. It depends. Who knows?
It depends on how we feel about a show that particular week, to be honest, because we can bitch for a long time and we can praise for a long time, depending on how good or bad a show is. So, let's just say this is probably a slightly above average length for how it's going to be. But yeah, I probably should have said this at the beginning as well, but this show is very much designed to be something you listen to in the background, because I don't expect you to sit there for 2 hours, 10 minutes and just listen to us. Like, play a game or something whilst you're listening to us, get your general impressions on these anime. But no, yeah.
I imagine it would be good. It would be good going to sleep content.
Yeah,
Stick it on as you're going to sleep.
Going to sleep, or maybe if you're on a long car journey or something along those lines.
Or if you're truly crazy, you can listen to every second with intense detail and bringing up in every point. I expect detailed essays in the comments if that's the case. If you're here listening to me now, I want you to go back right to the beginning and pause every 20 minutes to write down an in-depth analysis of my critiques of shows.
And of course, you have to give us an essay on how wrong we are in some of our opinions, just like the fans of Code Geass. Sorry, I'm going to keep taking shots at the fans of Code Geass forever. I like Code Geass, I want to emphasize this now, but we criticized it a lot whilst watching it, and the people who I guess I don't want to say like true fans, but mega fans of it did not appreciate our criticisms, even though despite that we did say we liked the show. We just didn't like the finale of season 1.
It all comes down to how you interact with things you love. I've never been blindly... I'll never blindly love something to the point of not being able to criticize it. In fact, the things I love the most, I criticize the most.
So that's generally a thing's biggest critics are usually its oldest fans. That's the thing. Like people love to say, like, a good current example would be the Star Wars films, where people, because no matter what you think about them, if you think they're good or bad, whatever, a lot of people are like, ugh, no one hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans at the moment. It's like, well, yes, because they're fans of it. They want it to be good, funnily enough. That's how being a fan works. Funnily enough, someone who doesn't give a shit about Star Wars isn't going to criticize Star Wars, because he hasn't watched it more than likely.
I dislike blind fandom. I engage with your things critically, not only because it makes it more fun. You know,
it makes it more fun, and the creators can, if they so choose, depending on when you're airing that criticisms, can take the feedback and hopefully make a better product.
That said, with anime, I doubt anyone in Japan's listening to what we have to say about that.
No, with this, I mean, to be fair, this isn't a proper review. This is more just for us to talk about it with someone and share our thoughts and opinions.
Kind of like a book club, except for anime.
Yeah, essentially. So yeah, that's about it for this episode. Feel free to state your opinions of these episodes. In particular, / the shows in general, if you've seen them all the way through. Obviously, try not to post spoilers for them, because whilst I have seen ReZero all the way through and Darwin's Game a good chunk of, Chris hasn't seen any of these, so don't spoil, but, still feel free to give your opinions, if we help, or, no, actually, no, that's about it. Yeah, feel free to give your opinions on these shows, how you think we did, any suggestions for future shows and stuff, we'll have anything to account as well. Otherwise, I think that's about it. Now we just have all the usual YouTube crap of, please like, comment, subscribe, ring that little bell to know when we upload videos, because the channel is going live again from this week. And we'll hopefully be keeping up regular uploads.
Comment as well, because that'll help with the analytics and all that.
Yes. And if you enjoyed this, hopefully you'll be around for next week's, where we review the subsequent episodes of these. Next week we'll have 2 episodes of Darwin's Game, and that'll be the normal until we catch up. And we'll be sticking with 1 episode of ReZero, because that's 50 minutes to an hour every week anyway. So, yeah, that's about it. That was our thoughts and opinions on these shows. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you all next week. I'd
say goodbye in Japanese, but I've forgotten.
Mataraishu, minasan. That's mine. You used to say sayonara, tomodachi.
Sayonara, tomodachi. There we go. One day I'll remember that.
No, you won't. And cut.